that way, and I'm like, mine. Gotta get it.
Welcome to our official 10th episode of the University of Granitegard here at Guardtower Presents. And for those of you that have been with us on this journey since the beginning, we'd like to thank you so very much. Especially since we've gone through a whole lot of growing pains to get here. And for those of you that have joined us along the way, we're also appreciative to have you. And we certainly look forward to bringing many more adventures in the months to come here as their party continues to explore the city. For those of you that are looking to catch up on previous episodes, you can go to the Guardtower's YouTube channel and check us out there. We post brand new episodes every Friday evening at 4 p.m. So you can always go back and watch your favorite portions, laugh at the jokes, or just catch up on things you might have missed. You can also find the Guardtower's Twitch and YouTube channel on our Linktr.ee site, and there you'll also see that we have all the social media that the City of Granitegard is a part of. This includes our Twitch, Instagram, Patreon, Discord, and the like. And you can very easily get there by going to what, Roger?
Linktr.ee, Linktr.ee/dcog.
As a matter of fact, that is exactly where you go. Fantastic location. I highly recommend it. And there's been a slight format change this evening, just so you all are aware of that. In the beginning, we had done several breaks during the course of the night. We are only going to be doing one break this evening, about halfway through, which is where we had meant to be in the beginning. But we feel that we're reaching such a point with the technology, barring anything entertaining that has happened tonight before we got on here. But yes, we do believe that we've reached a point where we can now just do the one break and bring you a lot more adventure time as far as that goes.
More action.
Yeah,
More
Role play,
thrills.
more passion. What you're looking for there. So, more speech. Yes, and you may have noticed that I lost a fight with the razor, and that's why my baby face is out tonight, so I'm sorry about that. Hopefully one day I'll be able to grow a beard again. We'll see what happens with that.
Stay tuned next time to see Bill's grown a beard.
Yeah, exactly.
I can sell you a tonic.
Go
for that.
on the Patreon if you
I'm
want.
sure. Contribute to Will getting a beard. This evening we have minis by the Guardtower's very own Tony Maggio, and our friend Tony Thefferson has provided the big bad for the evening. And of course, is that like a boo or a yay? Like, yeah, oh, yeah, you know, celebrate on that.
Respectful disagreement.
Our good friend Chris over at Glittering Cave Studios is also providing some minis. And we have special contributions this evening by our good friend Chris Fields for various items that you see on the map. So definitely a round of thanks for him as well. And as always, I'm happy to mention our friends over at Pocket Bard. For those of you that aren't aware of that, that is where all of our music and our sound effects and things like that come from. It is a very easy to use app. You can go to the Google Play Store, you can go to the Apple App Store and download it there. They're always looking to expand and looking for feedback from you, so definitely check that out and bring a little bit of excitement to your own table. And for those of you that are looking to get into tabletop role-playing, I certainly encourage you to stop by your local gaming store. There are games out there of every genre and flavor that you can think of, whether you're looking to have sweeping adventures in a high fantasy setting, dancing across the stars in a spaceship, maybe you favor a more dark and sinister neon dystopia of a cyberpunk world, or maybe blazing a trail through the Old West. There are game systems out there for all of you to check out, and a fantastic place to look at that would be either the Guardtower's East or West locations, or visit them online. And actually start your own adventures today. And I do think at this point in time that wraps up most of the business I've got. Is there anything I left out this evening, folks?
I don't think so.
Good to go? All right then. So
This
we will,
TPK going.
as you wish. Let's go ahead and go into our intro, and we'll see you here in a few short moments.
Once the seat of economic and political power in the Northern Territories, the city of Granitegard fell in one catastrophic moment of terror and bloodshed. In the quiet hours of the night, the massive granite mesa that served as the city's namesake exploded violently, the debris reducing entire swaths of the city to ruin. Before the inhabitants could even comprehend what had happened, they were blindsided by an army of monstrosities surging from the sewers and into the city streets. The militia valiantly attempted to protect the fleeing citizens, but their efforts were futile against the overwhelming tide of bloodthirsty creatures. And in the midst of the chaos, the city gates slammed shut, turning Granitegard into a death trap for anyone that remained behind the high, fortified walls that had been meant to protect them. For over a decade, it has stood as silent as a tomb and shrouded in a perpetual mist. No one has entered, and nothing human has ever come out. That is, until now. 12 years to the day since the fall of Granitegard, the Trader's Gate has opened. The news has spread like wildfire across the human crescent. And like a siren's call, fortune hunters from far and wide have been drawn by the possibility of untold riches lying just inside the city walls. Daring the foolish and the brave to risk it all at a chance of wealth beyond their wildest dreams. It has also stirred the interest of old rivals. With no one from the original bloodline to claim the mantle of leadership of Granitegard, plans are forming in the dark. Powerful forces seek to play their games of state, as the lives of everyone in the north hangs in the balance. And in the midst of this all, 6 strangers have been drawn to Granitegard by something other than riches or power. Their destiny is tied to the events surrounding the fall of the city. Each of them must confront the past in order to find a way forward. Each of them must search for answers in the doomed city of Granitegard.
And welcome back. Before we start off here, we're going to go through a bit of a recap to bring everybody up to speed. So during the party's first foray into the Shambles, which is a sprawling urban mass of derelict buildings and weather-worn streets that sits in the looming shadows of the walls of Granitegard, the party uncovered a magically warded door in these tunnels beneath the Two Flagons Tavern. They were able to defeat the goblins that had used human children to dig out these tunnels, and the party vowed that they would return to open the door. But unfortunately, life kind of got in the way, and many unexpected delays and twists came up that prevented them from getting back in a relatively timely manner. But when they did return, they discovered that the goblins had found a way in through the warded door. But unfortunately, the goblins had fallen victim to the perils within. And as the party began to investigate the darkened halls, they had a deadly encounter with their first adversary within there. It almost took out 2 of the party members. And while they were victorious, this was certainly a very brutal reminder that they must stay vigilant. Probing deeper into the complex, they discovered that buried within there were a whole series of rooms dedicated to constructs that were made from the very unwilling victims that had been brought down to these ancient chambers that had been sealed since the time of the Cataclysm, which was an event where the elves and the dwarves had gone to war and basically wiped themselves out. They were also able to stumble upon the chambers of Master Thond-en'i'orn's room, where they helped themselves to quite a considerable amount of goodies within the room. And they did find a journal in there, which Vaughn took very careful notes on. A personal journal from the Master.
Ruined 0 pages.
Yeah, ruined 0 pages. Perfect shuffling of the very delicate and ancient text. But he did uncover that there was an item called the Keystone that had been manufactured. And while it had been successfully created, it did not say whom had commissioned it, nor what was the purpose, except that it was this man's life's work. As the party looked further and further in, they had reached near the end of the catacombs and discovered a laboratory. At the base of the laboratory was a semi-flooded room with a beef jerky, as our party likes to call the description, man laying on a slab that seemed to be clutching a very interesting looking item in his grip. Unfortunately, this was a bit of a trap that lured them down in to tonight's beginning combat here. So we're gonna pick right back up. We had rolled for initiative and most of the party had gone, but where we had left off, Damon had done a tremendously acrobatic feat to bring himself up onto the platform where the Master sat and had swung his blades at him. The blades that he had stolen from the Master's room. And as the item had read that they were the blades that had avenged the Master's daughter's death. And now he had turned them against the Master himself. The Master clutches your arm, Damon, and stares at them and says something in Elven that you don't quite understand. But those of you that read Ancient Elven hear it, and it's very strange. It's enunciated very differently than it is actually written, except for one of you in the party that certainly has known how it is actually spoken. So, Ehko, you can open your note that you were given last week.
Oh.
But combat must proceed forward, so now we look to Mary. It is your turn. Mary, what are you doing? You can see that the Master has clutched Damon's hand and seems to be very upset.
All right. towards our foe here. Beef jerky man! I see you're missing a slipper!
You're gonna barter with his house shoes?
So, I'm going to then cast Divine Weapon, and before you see a giant seafoam green
Oh no.
slipper
Amazing.
with a little curl at the toe.
Go ahead and where are you placing this? Like right behind him? Right
Oh,
where?
like above him. I'm just gonna.
Because I believe, what is the range on that? I believe it's, was 60 feet, 120 feet?
Within 5 feet.
60 feet for
Oh,
casting.
60 feet for casting, okay. So
Oh, yes,
Mary,
thank you,
then
sorry.
count 60 feet. I do believe that would be within 60 feet.
Nice.
Yep.
Yes.
Does that work?
So you want to put it behind him?
Yeah.
All right, this giant seafoam green slipper appears behind the master as he's got Damon's hand shouting something. He pauses and turns back and looks and sees that his eyes grow wide because he recognizes exactly what it looks like. And what do you do with your seafoam slipper? Do you proceed to give him the boot? Well, it wouldn't be technically the boot, the slipper.
I'm going to smack him with his own chancla.
So like a grandma, you're gonna give him a good whack? All right. What's my saving throw on that, please?
It's just a melee spell attack.
I forgot what I had to this.
So his AC is gonna be a 14.
Okay. Okay, I would like to spend my.
Oh,
Oh,
well, go
nice,
ahead and
all right,
add a
go
d6 to your attack roll.
Okay, yes.
That's the first one.
Woo!
Nice.
Yes.
Heck
Okay,
yeah.
Well, that would strike,
18.
and since it is holy damage, it's going to do double damage.
Nice.
Go ahead and roll your damage on that, please.
I don't mind if I do.
I do mind.
Well, that is 3 damage.
So it's going to do
Oh, I'm
Oh,
sorry.
wait, no,
That is actually 9 damage.
9, so
Yes.
18. All right. When you strike the master with the boot, it slipper rears back and gives him a good smack. Like it almost looks like somebody was like, "Pow!" when it strikes him, much to his chagrin, and he disappears from that top and appears over there by the other side. There we go.
Oh man.
And now he's at the other location.
Oh, wow.
And he kind of shakes it off.
Over there.
What's that?
And now I gotta run all the way over there.
And are there any other actions or anything you're doing this round? Any other actions you're doing this round?
I want to make sure that I maintain 60 feet so that I can keep smacking him.
You are certainly within 60 feet at this point. Actually, he's a little bit closer to you than he was before.
Oh, he moved towards me?
Yeah, so he's on the platform over here staring down with his angry beef jerky face.
All right, great. I'm good. That was a bonus action. You're
Mhm.
right. Okay. Well then. Who is near me?
Looks like you've got Reverend right next to you, and then Ehko and Sky are right next to you.
Okay, I'm going to go to Ehko and give a little angry touch.
All right, suddenly you feel a bit more positive and jazzed. And that is it for you this round. That moves us over to Sky and Ehko.
Oh, it's my turn? Okay.
Mhm.
So, a couple sessions ago, I used Adrenaline Rush, so I have 40 feet of movement. So, can I get there even through the water?
40 feet of movement would be
Dashing.
half to 20 feet,
Uh-huh.
unless that Adrenaline Rush voids difficult terrain. No. So you'd be moving at 20 feet at that point.
Would I be able to get to him?
5, 10. And then he'd be able to move 30. And once he makes it there, he can make it at the top of the steps, yes. So that would be 40 feet of movement, which puts him within melee range.
Okay. So, now that we're here, can Sky also get into range with him? She is 50 feet.
Sky would have to pass through you to get up there. And seeing as how Sky is a medium-sized I don't know if they could pass through you to get up there on those stairs. They're relatively narrow.
Okay, that's fine. So with my bonus action, I'm going to use my ability, Blossom of Vines. So out of the cracks basically like seaweed starts to pull up from out of the water and the cracks in the stone and start to unravel him. So he needs to make a strength save
Go.
of 13. Yes.
Haha. Somebody tried to curse my dicey there. My first roll for that is a nat 20. So, what actually ends up happening is, you see all the viney growth behind him there?
Yeah.
The roots and stuff. It actually begins to snake down across the shelves and it begins to try to ensnare behind him. But as it does, he sees it and snaps his finger, and you can see the roots and stuff just kind of begin to shrivel as it gets close to him, and it stops.
That's okay. Then I'm gonna, with my sword and shield out, I'm just gonna look him dead in the eyes and go, "You're no master of mine." And I'm gonna try and hit him with.
Do you
instead
use
of-
the Elven or do you use the Northern when you say that?
I use Elven.
All right.
And I'm gonna hit him with my sword and use my mark on him since my ability failed. Oh,
Okay, 14 is the number to beat.
that is not good. I will use my inspiration point. Cash it.
And which one is that?
Nice.
Gold.
That's a D8.
Oh.
Okay. 14 is the number to beat.
Yes, sir.
That's 14.
It is meter beat, so that would,
With
it doesn't matter
everything.
as long as you hit that number, right?
All right.
All right.
That'll be 11 slashing.
11 slashing. All right. Ehko swings the Kopesh at the Master, and just as it begins to strike the Master, you see right along the edge of the blade it begins to glow, and as it passes across, he shrieks in pain, and folds over, and as he folds over, he disappears and reappears at the other pillar piece over there across the way. Stas. We're going to move him right over there, over to the other pillar. And he is clutching himself. You can see dust and stuff falling out of the wound that Ehko has inflicted on him.
I'm just, with my mark on him, I'm just keeping my eyes on him. And if he looks at me, I'm making dead eye contact.
Yeah, he is definitely glaring at you at this point. What are you doing with Sky?
Can she get as close to him as possible? Really?
So 25 feet of movement. So 5, 10.
This is doggy
Is that, you want to put her in range of the skeletons? Because right now Anna's surrounded.
Skeletons is fine. She can't attack because I used my bonus action.
And that will conclude the round, I do believe, at that point. That brings us up to the top of the round, which brings us back to Skeech.
So, my last interaction would be Jerky Man.
He has a
Gout
name.
of fire. I don't know it. He let a gout of fire right above my head, and that was scary. So I want to throw another little spark at him and then flee. So I'm going to go ahead and make that attack, which is going to be in the 20s. So I'm going to hit that for a single point of fire damage. And then I would like to run back into the hallway and hide behind one of the double doors, pulling it as a shield.
Go
And
ahead.
I'm gonna say,
Partially close that door.
you get a bot.
All right, Skeech fires this little piece of this little ember. I mean, it just, as it trails, so they have these little firefly sparks are coming off of it. It smacks the smacks the Master, and it's almost like that insult to injury moment where like he looks over like, "Argh!" and begins to put the fire out on his very dry corpse, and says something in a rather nasty tone towards you in dark speak that the rest of the party, unless you speak dark speak, it basically it's questioning his family lineage in all kinds of wonderful ways. And is there anything else that you're doing, Skeech?
I would like to take the hide action as my bonus action.
Go ahead and roll for that, please.
15.
15. All right. Yep. You believe you are hidden. Okie doke. It now becomes the Master's turn in this round. And Ehko, your back is currently turned to the Master there as he has appeared across the way. And he begins mumbling something. And as he does, out of his mouth, all of these insects begin to pour and stream. And they come out of the wound in his chest and just come racing across in this cloud towards you.
Okay.
You would need to make a Constitution save, please.
Natural 20.
Wow. All right. As the cloud comes trailing towards you, as you spin around, if you face him there, your blade is out in front of you, and the cloud just kind of parts around you and climbs up into the roots and stuff behind you there. And he is cursing your name.
Join me, insects.
They are revolting. This is very, very true. He looks very, very surprised that happened and quite upset that it did. Next thing he does is he turns towards Damon, and he also is like looking back at you as he's tracing these things and just without even really looking, fires this frostbolt over towards Damon. And Damon, you would need to make a dodge roll on that, not dodge, but a dexterity check on that, please. $15. All right, Damon, nicely done. It strikes just past you as it hits the roots and the growth behind you. You can see where they just literally turn to ice as it begins to spread out. And you can feel the coldness of the air as it ripped by you there. As he's doubling over in rock, you can tell that part of the reason he may be having trouble controlling the spells is the amount of damage you all have done to him at this point. And that moves us back down to Anna and her friends.
Wait, how far is the master away from me right now?
5, 10, 15 feet of movement. So if you ran your 30, you'd be able to get just to the edge of the stairs. You would have to use your double movement to get up to him, which would allow you to attack. But you would be having opportunity attacks from the skeletons as you charge past them.
Okay, I'll for my action then, I would like to attack the skeletons in front of me.
All right.
All right. Oh no. Okay. That's fine. We're fine. That's a 14 to hit, or a 13 to hit.
13 he would hit. 13 would strike.
Great. All right. Okay, and that's double sixes on the die, so that's 16 points of damage.
So the one directly in front of you was the one that you attacked?
Yeah.
All right. The one in front of you explodes into 1,000 pieces of skeletal debris.
Great.
Go ahead and pull it off, please.
Reaction.
Uh-oh.
You smash this thing
Yeah.
down. This Thond calls out, "This is unacceptable. You serve us, you serve Granitegard, and I'm going to reconfigure it, bring it back together, and I'm going to have it attack the skeleton next to it."
Oh my. All right, turn the one with the red cloak to face its buddy.
Wait, what?
Right?
And
What just happened?
so basically,
Break and
Anna swings her maul around and strikes the skeleton. You can see the maul just cleaves right through it. Actually, not cleaves, it crushes right through it. Bone and pieces of debris explode outward, and just as they reach almost their apex, they hover for just a split second before they're pulled back in together and reconstitute back into the skeletal form there. Not quite as together as it looked, more like a broken egg almost. But it is all together in one piece, and it faces its friend. Do you want to roll, or do you want me to roll for that?
I'd like you to roll. It
Right.
has a +4 to whatever its base is.
That would strike, and so the damage on that point is 5 points of damage. It smashes into the skeleton and does a considerable amount of damage to the skeleton next to it. Not enough to destroy it, but enough to render a lot of it shattered.
Kind of coughs out. You see blood kind of come out of Thond's mouth.
Okay.
Now, is this one of those? Is this the thing that would cause the eyes to begin to look bloodshot and the veins to bulge again?
It is.
All right. Vaughn is looking really, really bad at this moment, almost like he has some sort of poison or illness striking him.
Okay, after I hit the skeleton and it reconstitutes in front of me, I'm gonna turn and what? Do I hear you? Because you shouted this, yeah?
That one, it's ours. Take out the other one.
Oh, okay. Great. Oh, jeez. All right. I guess I was I'll stay there then. Or can I move so I'm flanking with the skeleton that's now...
Where you are, you would be moving out of the range of the skeletons behind you, which will give 2 of them attack of opportunity. I believe they're close enough, it's hard for me to see from my exact angle. Only 1 or 2 be... Yeah, he would have been in range of her, so there we go. So only 1.
Okay.
Or you can just pivot to face those, leaving your back kind of a little bit open to the one behind you that the other skeleton is currently engaging.
Okay, I'll do that.
All right, so that leaves your back mostly covered versus the 3 that were at the back side.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, are there any other actions or anything you're doing this round?
Nope, that's it.
Okay. Moving into the next phase there, the Master seems most distraught about what has occurred, and he is going to appear behind Vaughn.
Oh no.
And like where Skeech is, between him and Skeech. Yep.
And he doesn't see me.
And he reaches out to touch your shoulder. That would be a 17, which is higher than your armor class.
I cast Luck Potion.
Oh,
You have
no.
to roll again.
Oh no!
Of course it doesn't.
And he misses.
All right. So now I pull some sort of spectral force from Vaughn and the Master, and I give it to Anna, so she would have advantage on the next attack.
No, I can't.
Vaughn is, the Master's back behind, he's looking over at you. He is look ragged. He tries to say, thank you, Reverend.
No, thank you, Reverend. So, all right, moving us down the line, that is actually going to bring it over to Vaughn.
Drops immediately, and the skeleton that was there collapses.
Okay. So remove the red cloak.
And I immediately turn around, and I pull out my rapier, and I'm going to attack the Master.
Go off camera.
It's a 15. Is it 14?
15, and it strikes, and your rapier is a normal weapon, correct?
This is normal.
Okay.
6 points of regular piercing damage.
All right, your rapier goes basically straight through him, and you pull it back out, and he cackles as you do so, just looking at you like very hungry look in his eye. I mean, as hungry as those blank eyes can have, because again, they are really nothing but white, just completely milky, but I definitely can feel a hunger as he stares at you.
I'd like to use my movement to stay within the threatened area of the Master, but I want to position myself between the Master and the doors. I had seen Skeech run that way, and I want to position myself between them if possible.
There really is no way to do that except to kind of push past the Master to get to where Skeech is.
If I saw where Skeech went, I would push Skeech out of the way.
You have to push the Master out of the way to get to Skeech because he's between you and there. If you
Never
take a look.
mind, then. I don't do that. I think it's a good idea, and I end my turn.
You don't want to wrestle?
I use my action, so I can't attempt to grab.
So, all right, here we go. Moving next in line, we have our skeletons. So, Anna, you are the only tasty one there really on the menu.
Right.
So, one of the skeletons is going to close the gap by moving the 5 feet forward to Anna. And he's going to make an attack. The skeleton next to her is going to make an attack. And then the one with the bow is going to make an attack. So, a miss, a hit,
My AC is 19 right now.
and a miss.
Because I cast Shield or Divine Protection.
Yes.
Great, cool. Okay.
So out of the 3, only the one that strikes is the archer, and he inflicts 5 points of damage, and the
Right.
arrow is sticking, mostly deflected by your armor, but it does do damage. Mostly it's the concussive force as it hits you there. And that is it for their actions this round. And from the piece up there, it begins to glow again, snap and pop, and one skeleton pops out up on top of the ledge. So take one of the ones that's already died, and a brand new skeleton appears at the top. Nope, over there between the 2 blocks.
Where is the off button?
And again, you can see the block drops out as it does. The skeleton unfolds out of that, and it looks ready for combat. And that moves us down next in line to the Reverend Goodberries.
Am I able to get the skeletons that are down by Anna? Am I able to get down to them
You can move through Mary. I mean, I'm not gonna. You could basically hop down from where you are
Would I
into
be
the
able
water.
to make it so that I'd be within range of them?
So that would be the first one would be 5 feet. 30 feet cut in half is 15 feet to move him forward. Well, 15. Yeah, there you go. So that would put you in hand to hand at that point.
Am I able to get? I want to be as close to as many of them as I can. Can't get any closer. That's fine.
That's unfortunately unless you double your movement speed.
Yeah.
Because again, it's that difficult terrain down there.
That's fine. All right. And I put my hand out and I say, with a brandish a holy symbol, and I say, bow down before the word of the one God. Now it's gonna have to make a con save.
If it fails, what happens?
Then it's going to take 1 radiant damage.
1 radiant damage. All right. So as you make your announcement there, now you bow down before the one God. It actually does 2 radiant damage to him because it is double damage. The skeleton stares at you, and for a moment, the little bit of flesh that was clinging above the eyebrow here kind of goes up for a moment, kind of like what you did, then it falls off. And it does not seem to be dropping, but you did do some damage to it with the radiant. Any other actions or anything you're doing this round?
Yeah, pass that to Vaughn, please. Looks like he needs help.
All right, you are inspired. And now we move to, actually, unfortunately, oh no, that's the new one. Good, yes, I actually get another action. Let's go ahead and move him down. He'll be able to get all the way down the stairs and then be able to move 2 squares forward and stop, which puts him in range of the pup. So he is going to try to hit Sky
How dare you?
with a, yes, that would strike. He does 5 points of damage to Sky. And that is all the actions that crew has, and that brings us back around to Damon.
How far away is the nearest skeleton from where I'm standing?
It is 5 feet, basically 5 feet down the stairs, just because of, so about 20. Now, if you want to do a dex, get into your leaps onto from the stairs onto the table there, and that would allow you to get right up to the skeleton, but with basically half your movement, I believe, at that point.
See, because what I want to do is try to get back over to the Master.
Oh.
I'm kind of figuring out that elven weapons, kind of do a little bit more damage.
Well, if you give me a really good dex check, you can make it to the second table there, which would get most of the distance across that room covered at that point.
Okay, I'll give it a shot.
All right, give me a very good dex check on that. You can use acrobatics, since that seems to be what that would probably encompass the most on that.
I'm going to use this as well.
All right, add a d6. All right, if we could collect those coins.
19.
19 would be excellent. All right, so what you see is Damon pivots, and as he comes down off of the ledge there, about halfway down the stairs, he does a backflip onto the first one and parkours another nice backflip onto the second one, right in front of the Master, looking up at this point, with blades drawn. And you still have momentum rolling. That's just as far as you're able to move at this point. Get another good.
Is that my full movement, or was that 60 feet?
That's your full 60 feet to be able to do the backflip and the backflip.
Okay.
But at this point, again, you're moving, you've got momentum behind you. So next round, if you do another good acrobatics check, you can get yourself up to that top where he is.
Okay.
But yeah, that covered most of that battlefield, like right there. And moving down, that would bring us over to Mary, and then followed by Ehko and Sky. Mary, what are you doing? You got the Slipper of Doom still out.
I do. You have no foothold here any longer.
Mary bust out the mom jokes.
16.
16 would meet or beat the expectation on that. Roll your damage.
Woo!
Nice.
15.
Ouch.
So the slipper comes shooting across the room. And again, it rears back like somebody getting ready to smack a fly, and it strikes the Master, and he explodes into pieces, parts everywhere. Vaughn, you have Master dust all over you. And at that point, the skeletons all cease movement. They literally freeze in place, and nothing else is going on. You still have that lightning kind of going on between there, and the room is very still except for the sound of the water trickling down the stairs from where the caved-in area is over there at the back side of it.
As I realize that the skeletons are no longer fighting us and we're sort of out of combat, I twirl my rapier at the nearest one and I say, "Aha! I see you've had enough of my radiant damage."
Do you poke it?
No, I don't.
Okay. Just wondering. All right.
Well done, everyone. I think we did a bang-up job here.
Vaughn, are you okay?
Kind of drops for a moment.
Vaughn, Constitution check, please.
16.
16. Vaughn remains on his feet, but you can tell he's definitely very haggard from what something has taken its toll on him.
Are you poisoned?
No, I just overexerted myself. But no, how are you? Skeech! Skeech, are you okay?
Am I also covered in master dust?
Yes,
He's like
Skeech.
looking
So
around.
I come out of the dust. I'm okay.
Don't breathe it in, Skeech.
Maybe I should go take a dip.
All right. What are you all doing at this point?
Did the master drop anything?
As a matter of fact, yes. There's that little, that shiny, again, about yay large, 2 fists or like a man's heart, sitting there. That it is a 12-sided geometric figure. All sides are equal on it.
I will, if that wire we cut is there, I will like Indiana Jones, like jump across the water, hanging on to it.
Unfortunately, that wire was over on the other side.
I'll imagine how cool that would have been if I were on the other side, and I will wade through the pool.
Well, you can wade to the pool, go up there and get it, and then swing back over if you
Get a
want.
doggy paddle this guy.
Yeah, I will do that.
You're coming for this. It points down. You're taking the long way. You're just standing right by it.
Yeah. Also, more importantly, what was all of that you just did with the skeleton? That's not natural.
It seemed as if the odds were not necessarily in our favor, so I thought that it may be helpful to have some assistance. I couldn't get down there quick enough.
It was well done. I'm just wasn't expecting it, I guess.
It's a handy trick.
It's unholy.
Well, you know, there's some gray areas. You know, they say all's fair in love and war.
No, there are specifically crimes for war for that reason.
I thought it was pretty cool.
I don't know about
Thank
that.
you, Skeech. Ehko, he looks kind of like, he almost looks guilty. There are reasons to make choices, to go down paths that maybe you otherwise wouldn't do. I thought this was something necessary to protect you all. Nothing more, nothing less.
I think what matters is the intention of the heart.
Okay. I trust you, but if it gets worse than this, we might have to talk again.
You see, this entire time we're having the conversation, the like kind of gash that goes across his forehead, across his eye, is almost like not like pulsating, but it almost looks like it's bloodied, like it's been cut open, but you hadn't seen him take any of that.
You notice he's not looking you in the eyes. He's just his eyes keep flicking up to your wound and then back at you, just like.
Oh, again, rubs and just gone. It's a nasty side effect.
Okay. Well, perhaps we should check out what this false master dropped then.
Please, after you. It seemed like you had some type of conversation. I wasn't able to follow it.
Nothing nice was said, I'll tell you that. And I'll go to pick up the heart.
All right. As you pick up, again, it is definitely made of some sort of stone. What type of stone is very, you've never encountered anything like this stone before. It almost feels like obsidian, but at the same time it also has almost an emerald quality to it. It's such a super dark green. It only gets that dark green when it flashes a wee bit. For whatever reason, there's almost an eternal light that glows and ripples across the surface of it, but never completely illuminates any one side of it at any point in time. It is surprisingly dense as you're holding it.
I'll take it for a few minutes to see if I can cast my magic sense on it.
You have never in your entire life been exposed to something that contains that much magic in it. It's almost blinding for you to look at it.
I'm gonna go ahead and give that back to you. I ain't never seen anything like that before.
Well, while they're looking at it,
And
I'd like to...
you also detect magic behind you.
I am not gonna immediately alert the rest of the group.
While they're examining it, I'd like to just look around the room and see if there's like any place where that would fit.
All right.
Like, like maybe the crackling electrical.
Go ahead and give me a perception.
Great, yeah.
As you begin sloshing through, kind of walking up to each of the platforms and looking, I'm assuming at this point? All right.
Is there any kind of like healing I can do for Vaughn?
Absolutely. Vaughn, you didn't take damage. It was...
I took a lot of damage.
Oh, you did? Oh, yeah, it's self-inflicted, I believe, right? Yes.
So, like, I have a few different spells I'm working with, right? But, like, I'm looking at my Prayer of Restoration for blinded, deaf, and paralyzed and poisoned. I don't know if that is applicable, because I don't really
I don't know.
understand.
You'd have to do a medical check on that to see, or ask him. Like,
Yeah.
No,
Would that
it's
be
not.
helpful?
That's.
Okay.
I appreciate the intention.
Would
Again,
you?
like you said, it's good.
Could I have the die? Could I have the die?
Oh,
The die
no.
Please.
oh, oh my.
Great, cool, thanks. Yeah, so that's a
Roger, here we go.
That's a natural one.
Oh, fantastic.
4-story pit.
Great, I'm so happy.
I never...
Factory.
No. Okay.
Okay, well, I'm just going to do a regular, like, prayer of healing. And you get a D8.
Oh wait, does the luck you gave me, does that extend to just attack rolls, or is that any check?
You can use your inspiration on.
Yeah.
There's advantage on it.
Okay.
Sorry.
No worries, just one.
How many points did you restore to him? Okay.
I think it's just an
That
attack.
includes the bonus healing and things like that from her. Okay, just making sure. Don't want you to lose out on any hit points there. All right. So you don't find anything as you're looking about, nor does anything traumatic happen. Mostly you just get fascinated by the pulsating, glowing lights that between those two stones that occur. Every now and then there's a nice ripple of electricity. It has this ozone kind of smell to it.
It's almost hypnotic.
And yes, very much so. But after about 20 minutes, it stops buzzing and slowly kind of fades and winks out. But the wires to either side, where they were severed, still continue to spark a little bit. And you can see where they go up and into a hole and disappear into the walls. Skeech, are you doing anything?
If I could take just a shovel head out of my backpack, I just want to start scooping jerky dust into the water below.
Cleanup crew is engaged. All right.
The magical.
Oh, we'll get to you in 1 second. I'm going to move my way around the table here.
no, that's
Ehko, is there anything else that you're doing?
So I have this thing. Have I ever seen one of these? Heard of them? Is it a legendary thing?
Oh, the item?
Yeah. Maybe looking back to my training and history.
You have never, ever, ever heard of anything like this before. Absolutely. I mean, it is completely alien to you and what it must be, aside from obviously some sort of important magical item.
And does my sword seem to be acting any differently when I'm holding it?
Not right now.
What if you said something in Elvish?
Your master, I'll say in Elvish, was a man guided by his hubris and failed to see the world for what it really is.
Hurling insults at the sword does not seem to do anything.
You're a really good sword. I like you a lot. Please help me.
Charming, it doesn't seem to do anything either.
You need a one-man good cop, bad cop.
You should write it.
Yeah, I'm just kind of sitting there staring at it, and I'm just gonna toss it into the water.
Your Kopesh? You're going to throw your...
No, the device.
Oh, the stone. Okay. I thought you were talking about your Kopesh. I apologize. You said sword. That's why I thought he was talking about his Kopesh. Okay.
Oh,
so,
no, I was trying to talk to the device.
Oh, you talked to the device.
yeah.
So charming the device and insulting the device. Neither does anything. You go bloosh and throw it in the water and it sinks to the bottom.
I'll go get it.
You see Echo's shoulders kind of sag. He's like dun, 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 down the stairs.
Scientific method here.
Damon,
It's not
while
working.
this is going on, what are you doing at this point?
Are the skeletons still standing?
Yes.
Can I investigate to see if they're? I know they're not attacking us, but they're still active.
Absolutely.
That if something else in this room was to happen, they could easily attack us again.
Yeah. Go ahead and give me an investigation on that. If that's the angle you're going for, that's pretty good.
Yeah, that's a 3.
3. All right.
Damon, have you
Damon,
seen this pulsating?
as Damon begins to and gets distracted, he reaches out and all of a sudden he hits one of the skeletons and it just crumbles apart and falls to pieces.
Oh, thank God! I couldn't deal with another failure.
No. And so inadvertently you discovered that they basically are just frozen where they were and basically have not fallen down yet. So no, they do not appear like they're going to attack you, but if you want to collect one, you could possibly collect one. There's a whole bunch of travel-sized ones back up top in the hallway down the hall there. They're fun to give away at Christmas. But yes, no, they're not going to attack you. They are frozen.
Good to know.
So Reverend, again, it was emanating from where the ledge where Ehko originally was, up over there, where you see. Are you going to be doing anything there?
I'm gonna try to. Do I see what it looks like, or I'm just like following a magic?
As you go back up there on the shelf, there's a ton of. You can tell this must have been a reagent place at one point in time. There are any number of vials and test tubes and jars of stuff, and most of it has decayed over time. The only thing that doesn't appear to have decayed is a small chest that's sitting on one of the tables there, and that's where the magic seems to be originating from.
Over across on the other side of the room, from the door, I make it play a set of small musical notes as an attempted distraction.
So from behind Skeech is where the notes are coming out?
Yeah.
All right, what is the jam that you're playing?
Just a little like.
Ehko, on your guard. Turns around.
And then while that's happening, I'm gonna investigate this bookshelf here.
All right, again, there's a small
Chest, I mean.
small little chest that's sitting there in front of you. It is very ornate. You can see that there's gold filigree on the exterior of it. There are all kinds of little runes and stuff etched on it, looking very similar to the runes that you've seen earlier.
I'm gonna try to open it.
It opens right up, and inside are several empty vials, and they are very nice looking glass. As a matter of fact, the glass itself is quite impressive looking at it. It is very much like the same vials that you discovered in the other room. However, there are 3 vials that are labeled, and they're written in Ancient Elven. One says Bottled Troll, the other one says Unicorn Glitter, and then the other one says Distilled Fear. And as you look at the Bottled Troll, it is this greenish yellow fluid that keeps kind of floating and swirling about, and every now and then you swear you see like an eyeball or something come by, and maybe a finger or something along those lines inside of it. The Unicorn Glitter is literally a bottle of rainbow glitter looking stuff inside a vial, but the one labeled Distilled Fear is cold to the touch. And as you pick it up, it's a swirly, inky blackness, and it's not like it looks like the fluid is black. It looks like liquid dark is about the best way to describe that. And
Okay.
it has a warning label on it, as does the Bottled Troll.
Can I read the warning labels?
It basically advises you to use with caution.
Oh, use with caution. That's my middle name. Well, stop me if you've heard of this, but I'm going to surreptitiously put those bottles into my coat pocket so that my compatriots cannot see me.
All right. And do you take the box with you?
How heavy is it?
It probably weighs about 4 pounds with everything inside of it.
Oh, sure, I'll take it.
All right. And thus, that concludes that area. There's pretty much nothing else here that looks like it's of value unless you maybe cleaned out all the glass vials of whatever decayed organic matter was inside of them. 400 years worth of decay and nastiness.
We begin stripping the walls for copper.
I have been around players before, so I was just checking.
That's why I said it.
So, all right, anything anybody else is doing at this moment?
Noticing that there doesn't appear to be anything coming from the hallway back behind us, Vaughn kind of comes back over to the side. Did you all, I'm not sure who all read it or caught it, but there was mention of something called like a keystone. I have no idea what a keystone is necessarily, but Ehko, that thing that you just thrown into the water.
Can I roll history?
You can make
Or
a history
nature.
roll.
And
Sure.
While you're seeking this, here I was able to acquire some documentation from the previous room. I don't read this, everything that I had found. Granted, it was already quite disrupted, and most of the pages had already been destroyed before I had touched them.
Can I roll to see if he's telling the truth?
They
Deception
said-
or performance, your choice. And obviously, yes, insight, please.
Love it.
Now would be the time to have those inspiration tokens.
19.
7.
Yes.
7.
As I was saying, very honestly, quite care I took to them to make sure I did not disrupt them further. They said it could not be done, but I have succeeded. After so many failed attempts, I've recreated what was thought to be impossible. But to what end, I wonder? Will it truly let us? And it's just reading, pontificating from this book as he's like walking back and forth on this ledge here. Will it truly bind us or imprison the soul to our will? Here, this part's important. The keystone has been reforged, kind of points to that thing down there, to the best of my skills. But true understanding of such powerful magic is the domain of dragons. Even with all of our advancements and the glories we have achieved, we pale in comparison to the mastery that was necessary to create the seal in the first place. Sorry, it's a loose translation. I must continue testing it to ensure. It jumps around a bit for this next part. How does she plan to open it? The souls she needed to harvest, it's a grisly business that we've walked through, are long gone. I wonder if through magic one could recreate them, bend an existing soul into the likeness of another. Only then could the keystone be infused, and it trails off. I wasn't able to gather anything else before the pages completely dissolved of their own volition.
Did his spoken pronunciation of that, were there any nuances that were missed with his mispronunciation of ancient
Give me a history check, please. And for you, you would get to roll that with advantage.
Grammar.
That'll be a 17.
17. It is quite possible when he made the enunciation of the she, that there are a couple different ways that could be interpreted. And for what you seem to be picking up from the rest of the words and stuff there, whoever that she is must have been somebody of great import and not just a customer, somebody obviously that he had reverence for. Because again, much like Latin, there are different ways that they would have with the same word. Like again, in English we have love, but in Latin they had, like, I believe 12 different forms of the word love. Something similar in nature to that in Elven in this particular case. Somebody that this individual must have had great reverence for.
The she you described, perhaps it's referring to the queen, Illustria, the same one on Mary's coin.
It makes sense to me, especially with all this seemingly being a location of great reverence or importance to the queen herself.
But it was the last part that stood out to me. Sacrificing a soul to harness the power, was that the basis of it?
Almost as if the keystone had been infused. Again, I apologize, it's been some time since I've studied or read through. Trying to imbue it with some type of power and only binding the souls. But even in their papers, they explained that it seemed as if it was the cusp, the edge of their know-how. They needed to do more research.
Doesn't bode well for us.
No, it does not. Sorry, foolish of me to think that it would be so simple as to find this recording of this in the previous room, and for this to be the item in question. Reverend, did you find anything over on that side of the room?
Some dusty old books. They fell apart when I touched them. You hate to see it.
When we get back to town, we will have a conversation about the appropriate utilization of ancient tomes.
Yeah.
Damon.
I feel rather terrible about it.
All right.
I would like to pray to the one God and ask for wisdom, anything that would help us to unlock the secrets of this artifact and use it for the good of the people.
Very interesting. You know that invoking something along those lines would definitely take quite a bit of time to make that. We're talking at least an hour or more of communion time. So, I mean, is anybody else willing to allow her to do this, or would you prefer to wait for a different location and time? Or you guys, somebody going to wait with her while she does that, and the rest of you can explore? I just want to make sure that we're getting with the rest of the party on
Is this
that.
something I can walk and talk?
No, this would pretty much be dedicating your time and energy to trying to get some one-on-one.
Well,
Do we want to take a rest, or do we want to keep moving?
If we take that rest, could we do it in the room with the statues so that I can get a hold of those tools?
Oh.
Yeah, that's
I'm
smart.
fine with that. Sure.
We could take the time and we could start to go back to cash as well and start to maybe another one of your little pull wagons we could use.
I still have the same one.
I will say this. If this device is in any way the same as this keystone that's described, I think we should probably not be telling anybody about it if it has this potential to ravage souls and
Even our
things
patron?
of domination. Even our who?
Patron? Versigalis? Who sent us down here?
Who?
Oh,
Do you
right.
recognize that name?
No.
oh.
Anna, do you trust Versigalis?
I mean, as much as any stranger who shows up in a tavern and gives me enormous sums of money.
Then no, we shouldn't tell her.
Never thought of it that way.
Yeah.
Anyone with money probably also is looking for power, and anyone looking for power would find it in this device. So we gotta make sure we know what we have before we even think about mentioning it.
I can't argue with it. I've met a lot of folk like you're talking about, and haven't taken much of a liking to most of them.
It doesn't inherently corrupt. There's oftentimes the seeds of evil placed within them, but it certainly does not help the situation.
I'm a paragon of virtue, and I have been quite wealthy for brief periods of time.
If your eyes roll anymore there, Damon, they might actually fall out of your
I try
head.
not to look at it.
Sorry, somebody
Maybe
else is
you
being thirsty.
losing all of your wealth was a sign.
Versigalis is
Sign of a good time.
Our wealth, I believe.
Oh.
Oh, yeah, I do still feel bad about that. But I bet we found some things inside here that we can sell for a pretty penny. I do feel pretty bad about what my actions in the past, and that's why I feel like I must tell you that I have not been perfectly honest with you just now. I did find some things over here. I'm only going to show them one of them.
Growth.
Baby steps.
Well,
Incremental.
of the bottle
change.
troll,
Yeah.
the unicorn glitter, or the liquid fear, I also found some different color liquids last time. Do I think that any of them would be useful in this immediate moment?
In this immediate moment, the
Yeah.
other liquids, they're not really identified, so it's kind of hard to tell what they
I'll
are.
have to spend some time on it. I found this bottle of unicorn glitter. Now be careful. powerful stuff. It gets everywhere.
I believe you said you found some things over there.
Thing, slip of the tongue. It's a lot of little pieces.
Deception, please.
Foot in my mouth. That will be 19. No. What? Sorry. What is? I can't add. I'm sorry. 25.
25.
Dirty 20.
Maths are hard. So 25. You don't quite trust what he says, but then you look into his beautiful eyes, and they flutter, and you're like, well, you know, he is trying to redeem himself. So I guess he's probably telling the truth.
You can even take a look.
You know,
I guess I'll give you the benefit of the doubt this time.
Reverend, I didn't tell you this earlier. I don't know why it slipped my mind. My mentor actually trained me in some alchemical ways. You seem to have misplaced and have been in the process of recreating some of these. I'd be more than happy to assist you. Do not misinterpret this. I'm not saying that you could not do this on your own, but I imagine that 2 heads are better than 1 for anything that you are working on.
I feel like we've gotten to know each other pretty well. That being said, I like to work alone when I'm making my potions.
Understood. The offer remains on the table.
All right.
Will somebody tell me who Versi Galley Fragilistic?
He was a dandy purple man that we met. He gave us a whole lot of money. Said that we needed to find go through the gates of Granitegard and unlock its secrets.
I don't trust him.
No.
But to Anna's point, there was a substantial amount of gold that was provided to us for our work withstanding. And
Cash advance.
a small part of that was in bringing back and displaying some of the items that we found in our endeavors.
Well, I'm sure you could find something to pacify him with. Right, Reverend?
Like a jar of unicorn dust.
It would go smashingly with his outfit, so.
That's hard to argue. Yeah, that's pretty
You seem
solid
to be
on that.
mulling something over about it. Do you have further fears about
him?
our relationship with Rosicallus?
You guys are more experienced with these types than I am. I simply see a person who has a lot of ability to get what he wants. And I'm afraid when I don't know what he wants, that we could be feeding right into him. And if history is anything to go by, when the wrong people get power, the whole city suffers. And I mean, how many times does Granitegard need to fall before we figured out that lesson?
No more.
At least twice.
At least twice.
Hopefully not.
Yeah.
Hence the history of Granitegard
Yeah.
and the history of Granitegard 2.
Yeah. The
Return.
the regarding. Yeah.
Granitegard.
Well,
All
I think you seem like you've learned a valuable lesson, which is to trust no one.
And trust those who you can trust.
Present company notwithstanding.
Very well.
Moving back into the display room that you had talked about, as you all are having your conversation, Skeech, I would like you to give me 2 sleight of hand rolls, please. And then Mary, go ahead and give me a religion roll, please. You want to roll very well.
14.
Skeech, what's happening there?
So the first roll is 16.
Yes.
The second roll requires another dice.
Oh, please. So those of you that are unfamiliar with that, I'll go ahead and explain that that die that's popped out twice this evening. When you roll a 1, you then drop the other special die, which go ahead and show off what you don't want to roll there.
It's this little red die.
Yeah, so
Which you could roll anything else on there, which I did.
Yay.
It's
so
nice.
nothing tragic or terrible happens as you take this thing apart. Unfortunately, it's not the best job that you could have done on it. You're not quite sure if you got it off that without causing some internal mechanism problems. Something you might have to spend some time fixing down the road. It's an unfamiliar, number 1, it was unfamiliar technology. Number 2, it is an unfamiliar metal. You're not used to working with it. So it was definitely a difficult check that you had to pass for that. So yes, you got it off, but you're going to probably have to spend some time fixing what's going on here. But the nice thing about doing that is this may give you more in-depth understanding of the device itself, or it could go even further wrong. So, Mary, you take an hour to sit down and begin and beseech in prayer. You don't feel anything in return on that, on the Keystone itself, except for the fact that you feel that it will definitely be very important in a time to come. You know that you have stumbled onto something great there. It is of great importance. Outside of that, unfortunately, there's not a whole lot else that you feel at this point in time.
It's not time to reveal yet, but we'll figure it out.
To apply one piece of my knowledge to this, it's being referred to as a keystone, and keystone species are required for the function of the entire ecosystem. So it could be a similar effect, where if this thing is gone, everything else crumbles. But with it, there's balance.
Very poetic.
From somewhere way back where you have come from, within the chambers, there's a rumble, a very deep and heavy rumble. You can feel the pressure wave come down the hallway from the north side from where you are, as this ozone smell hits you. Moments later, there's a puff of dust behind that, and another deep rumbling within the chambers here.
Had we taken a short rest by this time?
Yeah, you had an hour. So
Do I recognize this sound?
you can certainly make a history check with advantage on that.
Right.
Skeet, you can also check if you wish.
Would like to. Does this fall in my area of expertise?
Yes, it does.
So is that advantage room as well?
Yes, as well.
Oh my gosh. It's a total of 7 for me.
7. All right, you're not quite sure what that might be.
Okay.
Maybe it's the ozone smell that's kind of throwing you off. You're not sure.
Yeah.
You're like, I think that might. I don't know.
And does that have to be a history, or could I argue for an investigation?
I'll let you argue for an investigation on that. Sure.
Okay, then that would be an 18.
18. That was a powerful explosion from somewhere deep within the area. You have no idea what might have done that. But given that it had the same ozone smell that the teleporter piece did, maybe it was something those wires connected to. And it has just gone off and quite likely compromised the structural integrity of this entire complex.
Is it from where we came?
From the direction that you had come prior, yes. When it came down that hallway to where you are in that central chamber, it would have, because again, you all backtracked out of the laboratory, past the master's chamber, past the library you didn't explore, then down the hallway and back to the area where the 4 constructs were, where Skeet spent an hour pulling off that device, and Mary was praying, and it came from that northern hallway where you originally came back out of.
So at the end of that hour, while I'm fiddling and I hear it, and I put together exactly what's happened, I snap it off. Say, we gotta go now.
What's going on?
This whole thing's gonna come down.
Dexterity check.
No.
What?
Dexterity check. You can use
Oh, no.
acrobatics, everybody.
Oh gosh.
Sky passes.
8.
Oh.
8.
Can I have the...
Oh.
Oh!
I don't want to give it to you.
It just got real bad all of a sudden.
It goes so bad.
I am good at acrobatics.
Great.
Oh my god. It like spun on the red for a minute. I'm good.
Okay. All right.
But it was like a top, like...
Echo stumbles, but
Yeah,
does not go
those
down.
is
But
bad.
you
To the red.
you're definitely going to be the last man out. Last actions going on. That was a very heavy rumble that just about knocked you off your feet, as you could feel the entire complex shifting at this point. And there's lots of dust in the air, and there's now this crack across the dome that you're looking above you.
Well,
I think said run.
it's time to go.
Yeah.
Grab what you can. Let's go.
Yep. During that hour, I would have liked to grab the bars, the additional 5
You
bars.
yeah,
Okay,
you've
great,
packed
great
yourself
work.
back up. All right.
Okay.
So we're going to be doing another skill check.
Oh, great.
So
I missed the last one.
yeah. So here we go. Yes.
Do I have time to grab my things again?
Which things?
my bag?
Your bag? Yes, you have time to grab your bag, but you're grabbing your bag and now holding it, and it's not on your backpack. Sorry, it's not on your back. You're holding your bag as you're running at this point.
Perfect, that's fine.
All right, so phase 1 begins. Go ahead and give me a skill check all the way across the board. Joe, what skill are you using?
As we're running away.
Yes, Reverend. Sorry, Reverend. My bad.
All right.
We're not using our. We're using our hero names.
I'm going.
5,
I've
4,
just used my acrobatics.
2. Acrobatics. All right. Damon.
I'll also use acrobatics.
Acrobatics. Acrobatics as well.
Yep.
Skeech.
Seems to be the thing to do.
All right.
I would like to use my athletics.
Athletics.
Yes.
All right.
Yep,
Mary.
I would also like to use athletics.
Athletics.
Okay.
Vaughn.
Investigation.
Investigation.
I'm looking to make sure that we're not running
We're the
into our
fast.
doom, and I'm assessing the structural integrity and what direction we should be going.
All right.
That's a
So,
very good idea.
Mary, what action were you taking with your check?
Yes.
I am just trying to carry as much things as I can and run.
All right. Just beating feet at this point. Are you
Yeah.
heading back down the narrow?
I assumed we were going back the way we
All
we
right.
came
That's what I thought too, but I thought I would
originally,
double
but
check.
If I notice you checking, I'll wait on you.
No problem. And what is going to be your action?
I'm going to grab.
That explains the athletics. No problem.
Sorry.
Skeech, what was your action?
To wiggle free,
Oh,
because
sorry.
I can move at full speed through this crowd.
Yes, this is true.
You're so right. Sorry, Skeet.
Echo.
Never mind.
With the acrobatics roll?
Yes.
25.
You rolled a 5. What was your action though?
25.
25.
My action?
Yeah.
Was just to move more nimbly than I did before and
Oh.
try and avoid getting crushed.
Damon, what's your action?
To make sure that I stay on my feet and I'm light on my feet as I move.
Roger that. And Reverend.
I'm running as fast as I can to make sure I don't get left behind.
So, what are our rolls?
That was a 15.
15, Mary? 8.
14.
14.
10.
10.
25.
25.
18.
18.
19.
19. Okay. So, as you're trying to assess what's going on, a stone strikes you in the shoulder, and you're like, I just think it's time to go. Mary is, you actually pass Mary. She's kind of dawdling at this point as she's trying to move, but unfortunately, you've got Echo and Sky bolting. You have Damon bolting. The Reverend's right behind them. Anna grabs Skeech, and as he's wiggling, she just kind of throws him up on her back.
Sorry, Skeet.
And Skeech is kind of like, let me down. And she begins to squeeze her way through the very narrow fissure. And everybody is basically outdistancing Mary at this point. This is pretty much like the last chase sequence that we did. So, all right.
Left behind.
We're being chased by debris.
Just as you all make it out of the room, it caves in behind you and is now collapsing further and further. Now,
Did I make it out?
yes, by the skin of your chinny chin chin, the first one's always the easiest roll to beat.
Oh, okay.
All right,
Here.
now I need another action check going around the room. Choose a skill. Tell me your action. Tell me your roll.
Acrobatics this time.
Acrobatics. What is your action?
To do better than I did previously and not get hit by falling debris.
All right, and so you're beating feet. And what was your roll?
15 again.
15. Mary, what skill and what is your roll?
I am also using athletics again.
You can only use a skill once during the check. You have to use 2 other skills, but by that time, this thing will be done. One way or the
Okay,
other.
I guess I'm using acrobatics.
Acrobatics, okay. And what are you doing? You're beating feet, trying to get out of there?
Yeah. Am I able to like say a prayer?
Saying a prayer as you run is possible, sure.
Okay. Because I'd like to do a blessing on the 3 of us.
Oh, okay. Well, excellent. As you're running, check out a blessing.
Yeah.
Go ahead and make. What was your roll for athletics?
It is. Ooh, a 19.
19, enough to bless the 2 parties next to you there.
Okay.
And Anna, what skill and what's your roll?
Okay. I am having heard Skeech's.
Skeeching.
Yeah. I'm going
Demonstrate,
to.
please.
Yeah. I'm going to
speak.
try and use persuasion to be like, I'm so sorry. I thought that I was something, and put him down and persuade him to also run.
Run! All right. So, what is your roll, please?
Great question. All right. That's a 19 16. That's actually that's a 24.
Wow. Okay. Well, all right, Skeech.
I'm convinced.
You are very much convinced at this point because you've seen what happens when the Earth collapses on other creatures.
I do. I don't like it personally. So what I would like to do is, from my lower center of gravity, have a better investigation check than Vaughn. That is the goal. I don't.
What did you roll, Skeech?
It's an 11.
An 11. Ooh.
It's dark down here.
Ehko, what skill are you using?
I'm using nature and seeing Mary falling behind, kind of like the runt of the litter. I'm going to pull out a pinch of dirt, and I'm going to run over and put my hand on her shoulder and go, "It might be time to go a little fast. Eat this." And if you chew on it, it's kind of like getting a few shots of espresso immediately. You feel fast. In fact, if you were to quantify it, 10 feet faster. So I'll roll nature.
That's a lot of feet.
Natural 20.
You hear that Chariots of Fire theme song begin to kick in, and Mary begins to just chuck her way, legs all extending nice, just pumping it. All right. Damon, what have you got?
I would like to use survival so that I survive.
Survival is a very good choice.
11.
11. Oh, all right. And
Maybe
the
I
Reverend.
don't survive.
Oh no.
I'm going to use performance.
Yes.
I'm going to sing us an old mining song
Oh my god.
to inspire us to run faster through the hallways here. Oh no!
Another one?
That was the one!
You swallow some
Oh
debris.
no!
What language is that?
Oh my darling! Oh my darling! No red?
I
Okay.
saw my life flash before my eyes.
Yes, I would have hate to have to like replace his character this early in the adventure. All right. So, what ends up happening is we kind of a shift in the dynamic of people's places and speed. Unfortunately, at this moment, it seems that Damon and Skeech have stumbled and kind of fallen behind, and then the Reverend basically is like, "Oh my darling!" and he begins to sing his song, just breathing this huge cloud of dust, and he doubles over like, and even Skeech passes him by. At this point, you are now
Right between the
completely
legs.
in the rear, and this is going to be the check that is going to count the most.
So I'm in the rear now.
You're fully in the rear. You guys have just about made it to that final room at this point.
I've been loaded 16 tons of coal.
Yes, Reverend, we're going to start with you this time around. I need a skill and I need a roll, please.
I'm going to roll persuasion. One God. Reverend, I know I haven't always been your most honest member of your flock, but I promise to do better.
Oh, man. Reverend, please roll your persuasion.
16.
16. All right, Reverend begins beseeching the one God. Moving down the line there, Damon.
Oh no!
Could I use insight to single out who's at the front of the group and then try to catch back up to them?
Sure, why not? Let's give that a shot.
15.
15. All right,
bad.
Ehko.
So across Ehko's HUD, objective survive. And he is just going to start, using all of his training and use survival to not die in a cave-in. It's my best skill. And that'll be a 24.
Wow,
nice.
all right. Skeech,
So
you've passed the Reverend. You are beaten feet at this point.
I got the backpack in front of me, correct?
Yes, you do.
So Skeech is just gonna go, let's go faster, and I'd
You-
like to use sleight of hand to just start tossing things.
Well, okay. Go ahead and give me your roll.
Yeah.
That's going to be a 24.
24. All right. Anna. What skill and what action?
Great. Okay, so I'm going to I'm back towards the Reverend. I'm gonna notice that he's fallen behind, and be like, that's actually one. That's actually one of my favorites of the mining songs, and use performance to try and help him.
You're gonna sing and inspire him?
Yeah.
On your way out the door.
Yeah, like try and get him to get going. Okay. That's an 18.
18. All right. And you burst into song there.
Yeah.
Mary, what have you got going on?
Yeah.
I am also gonna burst into song.
Amazing. Incredible.
Are you joining her in her song?
I'm singing my own song about the one God, of course.
One God, don't let me get crushed in.
All things bright and beautiful, all creatures great and small. All things wise and wonderful, the one God made them all.
All righty, let's do it. 16. And last but not least, Vaughn.
Yes, I would like to. I'm going to roll history, and as I'm going to go for it, I'm going to be recalling in my mind all the piles of junks in the appropriate corners. And I get up there. It's going to be a left, the big room. Finally, make sure you squeeze through here. Avoid this spot on the floor. It's going to be tricky. Watch out! And I'm like porting everyone through as we're like getting us through. Yeah.
All right.
Even still, it's another 15.
Another 15.
All right. Okay.
Nicely done. 15 was the number to beat that round. Everybody made it. Okay, so Skeech, though, as you begin reaching into your backpack to start throwing out your junk, what you notice is there's this gash on the side of it as you must have been squeezing through, and there's a good chunk of the junk that's not there.
My chunk of junk?
Your chunk of junk is gone. As you start throwing, you're like, this is much lighter than I thought it should be. You're like, oh no! Most of your junk is gone.
I want to stop and turn around.
At this point, you have basically popped out as you're making that, and behind you see, looking into that room, it just begins caving in and doesn't stop there. Now that you're in the tunnel, it's now kind of following up the tunnel line. And all of you charge up the tunnel, and that is where we are going to take a break and find out what happens when we return.
I'm so sorry, Skeech.
So, one of the things I've been asked to talk about is my favorite things, and I have a lot. But one of the ones that I really do enjoy is I've gotten into 40K recently, and I'm pulling a couple members of the cast down with me. There's a lot of different factions, and 10th edition right around the corner. I really encourage you guys to get into the lore. For me personally, I love demon hunting. I think it's awesome. There's a video game out for the Grey Knights. These are my boys. I appreciate them. And there's not really a good guy ever, but you can try.
Hey, salamanders are pretty close.
Everything burns.
Roger's coming back.
Okay,
Do I
cool.
have time to pee?
No.
We're gonna have Hadley just lay down on the table
Okay, right here.
as our dice tray.
Go, soldier, go.
That is absolutely going in B-roll.
That was recorded?
Sweet. We're live?
We are live.
We're not technically live.
I didn't tell you because I didn't want you to know.
Hello, I'm Stas, and I am here to talk about these awesome books that we have here at the Guardtower. Now, I know in this world of online, digital, everything, you can get everything online, everything downloaded, everything digital copies, guides, books, but there's nothing, and I'm sure a lot of you will agree, there's nothing like holding a physical, paper, hardback book in your hands and just being able to, hey, I gotta look up that spell, you know, and just flipping over and just the feel of the pages, you know, when you're playing with your friends and you're rolling the dice, everything is physical, and just opening up this book, it just feels real, you know?
So which one is your favorite book on the shelf?
Well, I mean, the Player's Handbook is a go-to, and obviously, actually, during playing this
Strict
campaign right
saving.
now, yeah.
You get a good shot there.
Yeah, my my character Bloodrain. Yeah, she's in this campaign. Yeah, so this is, I mean, I know, I think that's Quintilius, I think, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong, I don't know. Let's see, we got, obviously the monster manual. You know, you need that. You need monsters. You know?
Of course.
You have to have monsters. What's D&D without monsters? Oh, let's see what else we got. We got all the expansion monsters. Because, I mean, you know, beholders, all that stuff is fun, you know, but then it gets kind of boring, right? You want some variety, so you got your expansion books, you got your Volo's guide, you got your, what do we got? Where's, what do we have here? More Volos, Van Richten. Ooh, Van Richten, Ravenloft. Look at that. Everybody play Curse of Strahd, or anybody play Curse of Strahd? That's a very popular one. You got your Van Richten's Guide to Ravenloft, because, you know, he's got the inside dope. You know
That's got the Reborn lineage and the Hex blood. Yeah, it's good stuff.
Yes, yes, yes. Oh man, this just feels right.
So tell them where they can get these books.
At the Guardtower. At the Guardtower, east and west. Pick them up anytime. There's an entire shelf. You might see me in here staring at the books, just trying to pick one, because, you know, there's so many.
If you see Stas, tap him on the left shoulder.
Just get me out of my daze, because, you know, I can't just stand here forever. They're gonna kick me out eventually. But yeah, books, guys. Nothing like a book. The feel of a book in your hand. This is just fun. You know, this is the main reason I'm doing this.
Hi, honey. And welcome here at the Guardtower West. As long as you're going to be here, we're here. Yes. So we have this amazing package from Fan Roll Dice that they sent us.
Yes.
It used to be Metallic Dice.
Metallic Dice Gaming.
Yeah, Metallic Dice Gaming.
Good stuff.
Which they do sell here at the Guardtower. That plus, I believe you said, Dice Towers. They've got all kinds of incredible products.
Such as this.
That happens to be Audrey's
I literally
favorite.
have that exact thing.
It's because it's pretty.
And I love it.
It's very
so
nice.
much.
I love that they're
Rainbows
foldable, so
are
it just
so
fits
fun.
right into my folder.
Even if your dice don't roll well, you still got something.
We still have something to look at, yeah.
You can just let your eyes
Well, it's got a pretty background.
Low numbers and pretty rainbows. Yes.
Yeah.
So, without further ado, we are going to open the package here and see what amazing things they've sent us.
We've been sitting on this box for a couple of weeks, and we are very interested to see what they have sent us, mainly because we want to use them.
On the show.
I feel like so much suspense as I watch you rip this open.
Well, I'm like, I know that somebody's gonna put in the stream, hey, he's cutting the knife towards himself. He doesn't know how to
Were
do
you
it."
a Boy Scout?
Yes, I was, and they kicked me out.
See,
So-
if they say that, I'm just going to
Release
tell them
them.
it was a dummy and that this was all faked.
Very, very
Nothing
cool.
is real.
Card.
Look how pretty that is. That's quite nice. Fan roll dice.
Are this limited edition?
Oh, this is gonna be sweet. Okay, hold on. For you.
Okay.
For you.
Ooh, it's a mystery.
For you guys. Oh, okay. Dibs. I got dibs on that. Never mind. Here you go.
It's good to be the DM.
And we got one extra one here. Yeah, because I stole that, you get to open that
You
one.
get two.
So
Let's.
as we crack into these, I guess a really big shout out to Neil, the individual that I chatted with over at Fan Roll Dice, who sent us this lovely box. Thank you so much for doing this. It's really appreciated. It's going to be helpful for us and all of our players on our show. And I know the Guardtower appreciates it as well, obviously, as we continue to bring in more and more of the product. Well, let's crack these open.
Hold on. All right.
One at a time, or we just go?
All at once. Let's be chaotic.
It's like Christmas.
Well, we
Doing
do
it all
Christmas
at once? All at
in my
once.
house.
Tore my bed.
Oh my god, those are powder dice?
Apparently, I'm not smart
Those
enough
are
to-
beautiful.
They're the powder
Oh look,
silicone.
these have little safety.
Yeah.
They have safety tips. Ooh. Yeah, look at that.
My children will never puncture
There you
my
go.
foot
There you go.
again.
These are childproof.
Oh my god, mine are tiny!
You got the tiny guys?
This one has a tiny little bird inside. It's so cute.
Oh
I
my
got
god.
Skeech-sized dice.
How did they get into here?
I don't know. It's magic.
This feels
Look at these things.
I've never actually used or rolled the silicone dice before. And I feel
That
like
noise.
I feel
wow.
like it's the same cathartic from like a bouncy ball.
This is satisfying.
Look at that.
I
It's
gotta
like
say.
it's a snow globe.
It's a snow. Are you
That's just
serious?
enough D20s.
See, look what you got there, man.
The liquid core. The liquid core.
Oh my goodness.
That's crazy, dude.
That
It's
looks like
sparkles.
ice.
It's
Wow.
Sparkles.
like you can hit somebody without it being very sad.
Hey, everybody, give me a d20. Let's put it in front of the camera.
Okay.
Oh, here you go.
I want to hold the
Okay.
birdie.
Oh, that's
The birdie is
All right, bring it over. Hold it up.
Whoa.
Here.
I roll it to you.
See it?
Yeah. There you go.
Look at the little
Come on.
bird.
Oh, 18. Not bad.
We can get a
And
good
it
shot.
rolls awesome as well.
I'm not getting very
18.
close. You're just gonna have to take my word for it.
Oh, yeah.
It's sparkly and
So we got two 18s right there.
Look at those. Oh man, this is the snow globe die.
Yeah, I know. It's
I'm not getting very.
Oh, that is crazy the way it
I-
bounces. Did I
dude.
Look at this thing.
I know.
I know.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I like the way that one actually kind of slides.
Is that like,
See, I love that metal. The metal has always been my favorite.
Yeah.
Ever since I got
It feels
Yeah, you were
more
saying that
substantial.
you love the metal dice.
Yeah. Well, I now know what I'll be torturing the players with. I mean,
Can we see your micro dice, Adam?
Absolutely. You have to give them back though.
Oh, of course.
oh no.
Each size dice.
Oh no, you dropped it in the paper.
No, it's just tactically misplaced.
Those are so
Look
cute.
at
Oh my
these
God.
beautiful. Oh my gosh,
They're so
those are
tiny.
amazing.
No,
Yeah,
bring it back.
they're awesome.
What? Oh, okay, get a picture.
now you have them.
Okay.
Yes. That's why I love metal dice.
Awesome. All right, anything else?
I think one of the coolest things about the fact that they suggest the different varieties
Yeah.
is so Guardtower holds all these things, but the beautiful thing, if you let us know which ones you might be interested, we can talk to them and we can see what other stock we can get here either at West, over at East. So if you're like me and you have never rolled some of these like silicone, you're interested in the tiny dice, yeah, help yourself. Let us know in the chats. Let us know in the server. We can talk to the team and see what we can get in the store for you all. Because we shouldn't roll the ones this fun just for ourselves. You should be able to have some of it as well.
Absolutely.
This is a D4 I'm not afraid to step on.
It's not really dangerous.
Drop it and it bounces.
All right, everybody say thank you to Fan Roll Dice.
Thank you, Neil.
Where can I find Blue Painter's Tale?
Probably at the paint store.
Are you good? Yeah, we all good? Yeah. If you want to be a voice actor, we all got to record death noises for our characters.
Try to worry them all.
I totally got that on camera.
Hey everyone, my name is Roger Perky, I play Von Flourish in the doomed city of Granitegard, and we're hanging out here after hours at the Guardtower West. Now, you may not all recognize the individual that is sitting over here to my right, but believe me whenever I say that they are the backbone of this operation.
Thank you.
I'm going to let them introduce themselves.
I'm James Lowe. I am the producer of Super Happy Good Time Productions, and we are currently doing the show, The Doomed City of Granitegard. I
Now,
thought you were interviewing my hair.
I'm interviewing you, the person behind. Now, I think there's so many questions that I want to make sure that I'm bringing forward, but I want to give you an opportunity to really share what you've been doing, what you've been working on. The people, they see us behind the cameras, they see what's going on as the characters, but can you talk to us a little bit about the work to build the studio, to get us to where we're at, to work out all those small kinks that have got us to currently where we're at?
So I've been in the entertainment industry a long time. Most everything I've done is at least industry adjacent, if not directly in it. I've done everything from being in musicals to I was in a metal band, went to school studying to be an entertainment attorney. I'd rather work in the productions. And so what I did with this production, when we started, there was no studio. It was a medical office, and I'm actually the general contractor on the project. I removed a whole bunch of walls, designed a studio from scratch, built it from scratch. I had the help of multiple people. Hadley and Adam and Stas helped out a lot. I designed our sound system from scratch, designed our computer, which Hadley helped me put together because I am far too busy to do everything.
Why would that be? Nothing you've said so
Yeah,
far.
no, I don't do anything ever. I sit on my butt and play video games all the time. It's a passion of mine. I like to entertain people, and so when we started, our studio is not even actually open yet. We're still in the testing phases. We're almost ready for final inspection, but in the process, we had to make sure that all of our audio rig doesn't cross lines with any electric. We had a problem with the electric risers bleeding electromagnetic interference.
We haven't had problems. We have found opportunities for correction every single week.
We exist in a target-rich environment.
Thank you.
So yeah, that's what I do.
Well, so I think one thing that needs to be said right here is you could have talked for another 5 or 10 minutes and not fully gone over all the things that it is that you do to make these types of things happen for us. We get to show up every single week, be silly and do voices, throw some dice, but you're the one ensuring that all of this is actually happening.
I'm there almost 12 hours every Sunday.
But now, again, I don't want too many spoilers. Let me rephrase that. I want a lot of spoilers, but I have to be mindful that I can't have them. Now, there have been some rumors going around that you may not always be just in the booth.
Yeah.
What can you share with the people?
Well, I do have a character who, let's just say he will bear a big impact on the lives of your characters. I'll leave it at that.
I'll rest easy tonight with that description.
His name is Exotaurus.
Okay.
And the limited things I can share with you, he was raised in the church, but he is not a paladin nor a cleric because he's a noble. And he was there on family business, and that's about all I can really tell you about him.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So he has worked his way up to the upper ranks, and that's it.
I feel like I know. I feel like I was not expecting to get a lot, and now I feel like I've gotten just like enough to be dangerous, possibly, with what's about to be happening coming up.
Well, what I could share is how I created him. I took Will's concept of him and fleshed him out by crossing a paladin, a cleric, a fighter, and a chapter master from Warhammer.
Just your typical character creation.
Yeah.
Well, so I think it's important we got to draw a line somewhere, because I want people to be just interested enough in who you're going to be playing whenever you come in without giving them too much. But as we wrap up tonight, I want to extend my thanks for everything that you've done, and hopefully now that the people can see really who is pulling a lot of this to keep this production going. I'm oftentimes working in the booth, seeing some of the chats as they're coming in, so give a shout out to James if you're hanging out with us on Twitch on Sunday nights at 7 p.m. But I think that's all the time we've got for tonight, James.
Yep.
I think we have a show to get back to.
And welcome back. Hope you had as much fun with everything that you watched on there as we did when we made it. So, as we last left our heroes, they had just escaped the buried chambers. However, they were in the tunnel, and it too was collapsing. And they were beating feet out of the tunnel just as you guys make it to the basement section of the Two Flagons Tavern. The whole section behind you gives in with this shudder of earth, and a giant gout of dirt and soil sprays out of the tunnel and basically coats you all in a nice shower of small rocks and pebbles and a bunch of just itchy, nasty dirt. But nobody is crushed. Nobody is buried beneath the rubble there. A little bit dirty, but nothing. A nice, hot, warm bath that the Red Valerian could not solve for you. What are we doing now?
I immediately begin cleaning my clothes, prestidigitation.
That was
Oh, you look nice.
Closer than I would have liked, but I guess, is everyone okay? Everyone?
Never felt that.
Okay.
Skeech, what's wrong?
Skeech is trying to move the rubble, small rock by small rock, trying to make his way back
Perception.
into the
What are you
the
doing?
rubble.
12. As you see, Skeech is back to you, and he's digging through the rock, and it's not like a fevered hole, but almost like one of those sad, quiet desperation. And at first you're like, oh, what's wrong? And also you see the gash in his backpack, and it has this very deflated. Normally it's just overstuffed. There's flaps that can't close with things poking out, and now there's basically nothing.
Skeech. It's gone, friend. It's gone. I'm sorry.
Junk is replaceable, but you're not.
Here.
No, I'll get back up.
Pulls out this single bar that I had on my person to start your new collection.
Funk.
Well, Skeet, you didn't actually have the backpack on because you were carrying it. You got to put the backpack on?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. As Skeet shoulders the backpack, there's this clanking sound for just a brief moment, and then out falls the piece from the scorpion. Clank.
I'll pick it up and I'll pick the dropped bar that I thought I was wearing in my backpack. Just hold it and I'll just look at the torn backpack and just turn my back to it.
If goblins were capable of crying, Skeet would be crying right now, a tear of sadness.
Skeech, I'm so sorry.
But his ears are
Yeah.
down.
Skeech, I got this for you. It's one of the crystals that we found in the room that responded to my clapping. I figure you probably find something to do with this better than I can.
When the Reverend claps, and from one of the other pockets on the backpack, you see a glow where the other crystal was tucked. Skeech had made mention that he had taken one of the crystals and stuck in one of the smaller pockets on our last session.
By that I mean this block of incense. You're welcome. Oh, you don't eat it. It's you know what? Whatever. It's yours now.
Your breath does smell very good, though, for a goblin.
Thank you.
Sandalwood.
Put it back and I'll just have my little bundle.
I hate to. I don't want to, I guess, belittle how serious the situation was. We just escaped that tunnel with our lives, but I feel as though we should get our story straight as to what we are planning to report back to Versagallis Rex on what we found and what we did not find. What are our thoughts on this?
How can we know what we did not find?
It's a turn of phrase. More so, we found it, yes, but we're gonna keep some things secret.
Oh, you. I never quite know what to do with you honest people. He means that perhaps we should all tell the same story when we go to deceive Mr. Versagallis.
That makes sense. I think you should do the talking.
So do I.
Well, we can mention the constructs. We can mention the imminent danger to civilization, perhaps what we found, but we never stumbled across the room with the keystone in it. The cave-in started before that, and we managed to escape through the display room.
Yes, and then all of the knowledge and information he might have been able to gather about how to build those constructs has unfortunately been lost in the cave-in.
We found some of the books, but
Yep.
a lot of them disintegrated because of how old they were.
What about the
And
map
poor
on the
handling,
ground?
The map on the ground,
The ancient city prior to Granitegard.
is that an important detail to not include?
I don't see the difference. I feel like it will go hand in hand if we were investigating ancient elven ruins. They
Yeah.
And it
people know what was before Granitegard.
And it could be just the kind of small detail you sprinkle in
Yes.
to give a lie a little more flair.
We have to figure out what we want to tell him that we did find. So that, well, when you're in the business of selling things, you have to know your audience. You got to give the people what they want. He's paid us for a service. We got to give him something.
I think we should leave out the items that belong to the master, because if he asks where they led, it draws a natural conclusion.
Very well.
I mean, Damon is good enough at hiding daggers. I don't think that should be an issue. But the rest of them, keep them in your back pocket.
Did we find information that might be interesting that we could share with them?
The story I shared with you, I believe I will keep between us. I'm not sure if you had noticed anything else. I know that you had found a book.
Yes. I would very much like to keep that to myself. I think it perhaps could be more valuable than even a large sum of money. I do show it to them. It's called the Alchemist Cookbook. I fashion myself kind of an alchemist myself.
I guess to make sure we're on the same page here, keep away from the items that lead directly to the master that we did away with. But more so the other items, the materials we took from the constructs, the fact that we were able to get some of those rare ores brought back out as well. These are physical things we can show Versagallis that proves we did something, yes, truly dangerous, but I agree with your previous sentiment, Ehko. I don't know if we can fully trust this Rex.
Do you have a sketch of the map?
I do.
That's more things we can put in front of him.
I think perhaps it would also behoove us to mention that there were undead creatures. Maybe we just mention the ones that were in the bedroom.
Yeah.
That, but just in case any more of them are a danger to the town.
And all the more reason why we would have left in a hurry.
Yes.
I think this works. On the constructs, though, assuming worst case scenario that Versagallis wants to recreate his own and terrorize the city again, do we want to mention the constructs, or do we want to keep that out too? Because that would be withholding a lot, but also potentially is the most inspiring.
I think we should tell them about the constructs.
Okay.
I think, yeah, especially just because if it would be really, if we could warn the townspeople about the constructs, and I think it would be harder to keep that back from Versagallis.
Also, we have to make it believable. We have to give enough for it to make sense.
We could always mention creatures that were built, but not exactly what they were.
I agree. The idea here that the townsfolk and the people of Newtown are our primary concern, not necessarily the spelunking and the other items that we acquired. That's a boon, certainly, yes. But I think that sounds like a good plan.
All right. And if he presses us?
If he presses us, I think that's telling in and of itself as well. Because wouldn't that imply that they expected us to find more than we're reporting? I think then it's up to us to determine on what end of the spectrum we believe it to fall.
So which physical items are we presenting?
The bars of mysterious oil, yes?
Yes.
Not the slippers, not the daggers, not the keystone, not the book.
Not the rings.
I didn't even know there were rings.
Oh, there's 3 rings. Surprise!
Everything else is up to the individual, I'd say.
And maybe a copy of the map.
Can I interest him in a bottle of unicorn dust in these trying times?
Should lead with that.
Yeah. Let's do that.
Again, I think this all sounds good, and I don't think I need to ask you all this, but I'm covering my bases. That deal with the undead and me commanding it to fight for us, I would hope that can remain between us. Again, it's not because I believe I'm a threat to any of you or the populace, but I wouldn't want folks to get the wrong idea as to my intentions.
You're so good, Sigma.
I understand we've really only just met, and this is important to me.
Your secrets are yours to reveal, not mine.
You've taken it upon yourself to hide my secrets, so it would only be fair for me to do the same. Who would I tell?
And
I'll take that as a yes. Thank you, Skeech.
and I'm in your debt. That was The skeleton. Those were. I was.
Let's be
About to
real.
be in
I
trouble.
think you were going to handle it quite fine.
But still, I appreciate the sentiment. So I will not reveal what you have chosen to show.
Thank you.
You already know my thoughts on this. I've said it before to Ehko.
I know you don't care to know our
No,
secrets.
secrets are dangerous, therefore they should stay secret.
And with that, I take it you all are exiting. All right. Back you all come up the ladder that Skeech put together for you and into the tavern. And just as you are stepping through the front door of the tavern, the doors open up. You can feel the cold air. It's been relatively a stable temperature down below the ground, but now the cold, almost fall rushes back in. Looking at the time, you can see that most of the day has gone by. You're in about mid-afternoon, more than likely. There is a light rain that is falling right now outside. Definitely going to be super chilly as you get out. As you step out onto the porch, this arrow whistles through the air and whack, hits the wall next to you. And out of the from behind the piles, Damon, go ahead and open up that note that I provided you, by the way. From behind the piles, you see a whole plethora of humans that are kind of rattly dressed stand up. A plethora, yes. Do not worry, I am still with you. But anyway, for those of you that catch that reference, anyway, gentleman steps forward, looks to be the leader, has a bandana pulled up across his mouth. He has a hood over his head, and he yells, he's like, all right, nothing funny? We want to be putting holes in that fancy attire of yours. By order of Sept the Blade, these here parts is claimed by the way, and that means whatever you found down there belongs to us. Drop it on the ground, walk away. No one needs to get killed, no one needs to be dead. Do it.
What was the name?
Sept the Blade.
Is that a family name or?
It's the name that means you're dead if you cross it. She don't take kindly to people like you.
I don't know what that means, but it felt mean.
You can see that all these people got their hands on their weapons. You got two dudes with the crossbows, a gentleman with a bow.
I have my hand on my rapier. I'm staring right at the person who said that name.
I have my sword concealed under my cloak, and I'm just my shield out.
I apologize, friends. There seems to be some confusion. I'm not under any understanding that Sept the Blade has any right to claim this land or this area whatsoever.
I'll make this easy. I'm going to count to 10. If you haven't dropped everything you got, we begin cutting.
Does it look like any of them have seen, like their eyes have glanced down from the rest of these people?
You could make a perception check and see what they're doing.
Just want to know if I have a chance to hide before they start head counting. That's going to be a 11 on my perception.
11 on perception, it's hard for you to tell.
I would like to make an insight to see, because you said Sept the Blade, I would like to make an insight to see if that's who's talking right now.
Definitely not who's talking, because he mentioned a she, and
Okay.
he is definitely male presenting.
Would she be around the area at all?
You do not see anybody that appears to be a she in the group.
Step in the room with us now. You
10,
look at me and I
9,
am shaking.
8, 7, 6.
What's that in the distance?
Go ahead and roll deception.
I'm not good at it. 12.
12. He's 5.
When he turns, I want to hide.
I begin whispering into his mind. I'm trying to cast Terrible Diction.
All right. What do I have to beat on that?
Wisdom save.
What will be the number?
14.
What horrible thing would befall this man should he have failed his save?
He is going to take 7 damage, and he has to run as far away from me as he can.
Thond doesn't know necessarily what you were doing, what is happening, but around the corner, essentially, from where, is there an alley or something nearby?
Right now, you guys are all starting to pile out the door.
Yeah.
Not everybody has made it out, so there's no real around the corner at the moment.
I'm
you're
not
all
trying to go
frozen.
somewhere. Is there an alley or a corner around the building within like 30 feet?
Yes, within 30 feet there would be.
Beautiful. I would like to imitate and recreate one of the battle cries of Rourke the Bloody, coming up from behind that as I create my illusion.
All right. So let's let you do that, and then we'll address what you just did. So, are you looking to cause fear and distraction, or
It just happens.
it just happens?
That's their decision if they want to stick around for whatever that is.
All right. So, with what the Reverend does, you're not quite sure what happens. The guy counting gets to 3, he goes, ah, and grips his head, and you see blood dribble down out of his nostrils, and then he turns around and beats feet. And next thing you know, this roar comes out of the alley, and all of the would-be thieves are looking at each other right now and begin backing away, and slowly at first, but then as more of them begin to run, the rest of them begin to depart, and you're left standing, looking out into the rain, into the darkness of the shambles. Well, actually, not darkness, but like the overcast area of the shambles there. Mud running in the streets.
Brilliant, guys.
Any of them that are running away, or like the last one that tries to run away, I try to cast Death Knell against them. I'm trying to kill them.
All right. Go ahead and cast Death Knell. They're running.
Another wisdom save.
And what horrible damage would you have done with your Death Knell?
Do they have all their hit points?
Yes. None of these guys have been in combat recently.
Not even a paper cut.
2 necrotic damage.
2 necrotic damage. You hear the guy scream in agony as he runs away.
Could I make an insight check as I see the Reverend
And you might
attacking
think
with-
you're not sure whether I'm going to try to run after these folks right now.
Yes,
like, I've never seen him this aggressive, so.
Yeah.
That'll be a 15.
15,
Trying
you
to
can
hide it.
definitely tell something about these people has set him off, particularly at the point with the mention of the word Sep. The name Sep, something about that triggered him hard. Outside of that, there's just a bunch of footprints in the mud and some really embarrassed feelings at this point.
We got the drop on them. We can chase them. We can hunt them down.
No, it's not worth it.
I don't think it's necessary. We're in the clear. We should leave.
They're a common rabble seeking to separate us from our goods. They're probably in hard times. I feel like anyone.
Who is Sep the Blade?
Sounded like a bad person.
Reverend, tell the truth. For once.
I'm very good at that.
Try.
I look over at Damon, but I think that these men are part of a criminal organization called the Way.
The Way.
I think that they have been terrorizing Newtown, and felt like we should bring them to justice. But you are correct that discretion here is advised.
Have they wronged you in some way?
Can we go back to town? I'm very tired. I've been using a lot of magic.
We can continue this discussion there, but we will continue it.
Fair enough.
No, Reverend, if they're causing trouble in Newtown, I'm more than happy to assist you in rooting them out. I just don't believe we need to kill them in cold blood.
Those men were nothing.
Do you know more?
I've had tangles with members of the Way. Those men were nothing. Just little thieves.
Is Sep their leader?
Could be. Maybe.
Highest ranking person I know of in that organization. I would like to find out more about them. And as I said, bring them to justice.
Maybe we can find out more about them together.
you're offering, then I'll take the assistance.
I think at this point, yes, your cause is very much our cause moving forward. We can lend assistance gladly, but know that I think we made the right decision here, and I hope we would continue to make the right decision unless they pose some more direct threats.
I can't promise anything.
Understand. I won't press further. It's starting to rain. Should we pick up the pace back to town?
Yes.
Yes.
And back to town you all proceed. I'm sure that at this point you all have your guard up as you're moving out. Nothing hops out of the shadows, attempts to attack you, anything along those lines, but it is a very unnerving trip back up the switchbacks, the top of the bridge, walking past the burned out corpse of the little commune there, and then onto the Traders Road. And as you're approaching town, you can see Gildan's caravan there on the hill. It doesn't look like there's too many people there right now because of the rain. Actually, to be honest, it doesn't look like there's anybody there because of the rain. Most of the actual sales caravan pieces have kind of been folded back up from their jewelry box configuration. But there is a tent that has been kind of put up in the center where there's a fire going. Opening at the top, the smoke's billowing out of that, and you can hear some music and such coming from there. Surrounding the exterior of it, you can see those guards. Or if you wish to head into town, the front gate's still open at this time of day. Where do you wish to go from here?
I'd like to go chill with Gildan.
All right. I do think at this point Gildan should be joining us here momentarily. Coming off, are you all walking across the field to get there? It's the shortest route. Through the waist-high grass. No.
Any sign of the woodchuck we previously?
Real questions.
Yeah.
No, there is no sign of the woodchuck anywhere around. You all make it up to the edge.
There it is.
You all make it up to the edge of the caravan again. You can see that that tent has been put up, and most of the caravan workers are underneath the tent. You can smell good food going. There looks to be a spit that they're roasting. Looks like a pig. Maybe it's a sheep, hard to tell from the distance where you are, but it does smell savory, delicious. The herbs that you smell are very unfamiliar to most of you. You can smell hints of stuff that you are familiar with, maybe some onion and garlic, but there are other herbs that you would not recognize. However, the Reverend and Damon definitely recognize some of those scents right there, and you could tell that this rub that must have been placed on the meat must have been really good rub. Also, it looks to be that they have several spits of vegetables roasting right now. Look to be potatoes and carrots on the spit. And it looks like there's also some sort of pot of maybe a stew going. Kind of hard to tell from exactly where you are. And you can see Mia is turning that, and Sakura is actually the one that is working the pit. And Gildan is sitting back on a nice, luxurious-looking. It's not really a couch per se, but yes, his legs kind of stretched out. There's a big cask of wine next to him, and he has a mug that is very strangely a mug. It looks like a horn the way it's curled up, and he is drinking, and they're laughing and talking and celebrating. Looks like they're making the most of a rainy day and no business. And through the mud and the mire and the rain, you all become charging up.
My friends, you're back. You do not look so good.
We ain't.
Well, that is very sad to hear. Please join us. Join us. We are having a little, not a celebration. We are just unwinding after a busy day. Please, have some wine. Have some food. You're welcome. Oh, please. Everything, we like to share.
Oh, well, if you insist.
Thank you, Gildan.
Of course. And what brings you to our humble caravan?
Well, we are looking to do business.
Well, that is what I'm in the business of doing.
Maybe you could identify some objects for us.
That is something that I can certainly do. Of course.
I'm gonna pull out my slippers.
Beautiful. Very nice craftsmanship.
Yes, they're beautiful, aren't they?
They are
I
very
was wondering if they have any sort of magical component, something special about them?
Have you worn these yet?
I did put them on
Did you?
briefly.
Did you feel any different?
I felt something, but I wasn't sure what I was feeling really.
Well, if you say you have worn them, they look remarkably clean for shoes that have been worn.
I mean, it was just around a room briefly.
I see. Is there anything else?
Oh, we have some of this metal that I'd love to hear what you think about. And I take out one of the the light iron bars.
Anything about
You've not seen these before.
These are this is metal.
Oh, thank you.
This is quite sturdy metal. Yes, I'm sure you can make very nice armor with this, possibly.
You know, I thought so too. Yeah.
Gildan, I think we got off on the wrong foot last time about a particular object, and I wanted to ask for your advice on it. And I'll pull out my sword. I'll say, I thought this is simply an important, well-made sword. I didn't think there was anything more to it, but something must have triggered something in it, because there's been some kind of magical reaction to things. I can't figure it out.
I understand. May I talk to you for a moment? Meanwhile, if you have anything else you would like me to identify for you, please place this on the table. And he points to the table in front of
I will catch Damon's eye and just kind of like nod at him as I exit.
I don't want to give this book up, but I do want to get it identified.
On the
Just
table.
hold it the whole time.
Yes, we will not be long.
While the things are getting piled on the table, just Gildan, has anyone else stopped by with any particular fine or elven made things to be identified? Any competition we should be aware of?
Well, I generally do not talk about my other customers.
Oh, of
we keep
course.
everything very
course.
private.
Mhm.
Yes.
Never kiss
But
and tell.
we are your friends. You just said so you know.
Well, I mean, everyone is Gildan's friend.
Yes,
Gildan is
of
friend
course,
to
of
all.
course. You're too good. All right.
Well, I do not like to say so myself, but you know. And he takes a big swig of wine. All right, come with me.
Okay.
May I? And we kind of like walk away to
Yeah.
like out of earshot. You know. May I see the sword?
Yes. And you just see him kind of hesitate for a second,
Do not
and
worry.
then give it to you and just kind of pull his hands back like he's never given it to anybody else before.
He like takes it and he kind of looks at the hilt, and he finds like a loose kind of thread on the hilt, and he starts unwrapping it. And as he's unwrapping it, you see something engraved on the hilt. Do you read Elvish?
Yes. The strength of iron, the power of the soul, what lies within can only be harnessed as the two become one.
Quite poetic.
Yes.
But then everything that is in Elvish tends to be quite dramatic.
Don't have to tell me twice. What do you
is,
think it means?
Well, it is something very special. Clearly, this weapon was meant for you. But as far as what this means, I believe that this is something that you must figure out for yourself. I can only point you in the right direction.
As you look at the hilt, he's peeled back the wrapping that's on there. There is a grip that you can see that looks like it would fit your hand on the base of the hilt there without the wrapping. It would not be comfortable to utilize in combat, but it looks like it is designed for you to grip it without the wrapping.
I'll reach out and grab the sword by the grip.
You lose 5 hit points.
Okay.
But as you do so, and when you grip onto it like that, you can feel the piercing the center of your palm near the base of it. But the sword, at the same time that happens, begins to take on a very strange quality. The weight tapers off on it. The feel in the base of your hand becomes much easier to manipulate the sword, and that edge, that glow, once again appears on it and then fades. You have now attuned to your sword.
Looks like it was was meant to be.
And you just see kind of blood trickling out.
But when you look, you don't see anything that would have caused that at this point.
Well, took some of me, but
I believe it is worth it.
thank you, Gildan.
You are welcome. And do not think anything of before. It is all in the past.
Do you put the wrapping back on? Gildan knows it's supposed to be back on.
Yeah, I will.
Yes, you might want to put that out. You do not want to expose that.
Yeah.
Right.
Because again, when you're gripping it, yes, but it would be really terrible within combat to hang on to just the straight metal.
Okay. I will return to the group.
All right.
I will come back and I'm guessing there's like a giant pile of stuff on my table.
Big old pile.
All right. Well, this will take me a few minutes. Takes another sip of the mug. And please, I must take a few moments. This is quite a good bit of things that you have brought here. While I'm doing this, please, you are welcome to look around. We may look like we are closed, but we are still open. If you would like to purchase anything, please feel free. But one request I will make, keep your hands to yourself. I will not be as kind as I was last time.
You see,
And his
Skeech
eyes
just
just kinda
looking
light up.
already defeated.
Yeah, Skeet, she's talking to you.
I was looking right at him when I said that. Okay. All right. And he, puts his hands on the items, and you see his jewel begin to kind of glow, and then just get brighter and brighter, and then just go out. Well, you have gathered quite the haul here. And where did these? Again, I like to know where these where items come from if I'm to assist. I want to make sure that they were not ill-gotten.
We found them in the shambles, below some of the current housing. There appeared to be a structure beneath some of the current buildings.
I see. Well, it looks like you had to fight for these items.
We attempted to get most of them.
Life is a
Visceral.
struggle. It is true. We all fight in a battle, metaphorically.
Of course. Well, you have proven yourself to be trustworthy in the past, so I will take your word for it. Ooh, let's see. Was the book?
Yes.
One of these? Okay. Oh, this
started
is
with it.
the Arcanist Cookbook. Wow, very nice. Let's see. It's spells and potions. Well, in order for you to be able to read this book, you must attune to it. You must spend some time focusing on the contents.
I was wondering why it looked like gibberish.
Well, once you are able to spend some time, it will start making more sense.
Hypothetically, how long would I have to read it and study it for that to happen?
I believe, hypothetically, at least an hour.
Oh,
Hypothetically.
well, let me take that back. It looks like I got something to occupy myself for the next hour. Sure beats brooding.
Let's see.
No offense to you, Damon.
Potion. We have a potion of breathe water. This is another very useful item for combat, or if you just like to go scuba diving. And could anybody in particular that would like to act? I will put this aside. You will decide. We have the potion of vital essence. It is, oh, this is great. This is if you are very tired after battle, after travel. It removes some of that fatigue. Very helpful. And it also cures any poisons or disease. And it also helps you with your vitality for 24 hours, for a full day. Very useful in combat, very useful for traveling. Let's see. So, good items. Would you like to sell any of these items? These are very nice acquisitions.
Potentially, after we know what they all are,
Yeah.
maybe.
Well, you just let Gildan know. We have the potion of heroic action. Let's see. This is also good for vitality. Very temporary though, but gives you a temporary boost. Let's see. Oh, this is a good one. Potion of breath of the fire drake. This is you breathe fire. I think that's pretty self-explanatory for that one. Let's see. Oh, we got a couple more here. Okay. Oh yes, the boots. The boots of cleanliness.
They're slippers.
One man's slippers is another man's boots. You know? It's a matter of perspective. These are very useful. They provide protection from cold, protection from fire. Well, they are protected. Basically, they do not get damaged.
Okay.
They do not get damaged. They always stay clean.
And they're called what?
They are called Nemril's Boots of Cleanliness. Yes, they if you are walking through mud and you do not want to leave any footprints, these are the perfect things.
I guess I didn't have to take them off at the water.
You live and you learn. As Gildan always says. We have this little there's a coin. Did you get me? Is there a coin that you guys gave me? Is that one of the things?
Oh, with a woman on it and the.
Well, no, this was those tokens that you found in that display case.
The ones
with the feather on them.
Feathers on
Feathers.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Yes, these are token of the feathers, or tokens of the feather. Let's see, 5 total. Oh well, these are great if you happen to slip and to fall. This will make you. No, that was not a threat. This was just. I am just explaining the, you know. But yes, it helps you descend slowly, so you do not take. You're not injured as much if you fall. Very useful. And of course, the sphere of light, the sphere of minor sphere of light. Basically, it radiates light, bright light within a 15-foot radius, and another 15 of dim light. So very good in dark places for those who cannot see in the dark. Does this excite you? I was under the impression that your people were able to see in the dark. Is this not the case?
Yeah, but it's not as clear.
I see. Well, this might be useful for you, but we will let your friends decide. By the way, how is that candy that I gave you last time? Are you still enjoying it?
He gifted it to me.
He took it.
What? Well, you must be very great friends to share candy that one has already eaten. Who will be next?
He's talking to you, Reverend.
I fear I've been a bad influence on you.
Is this something that you just, from person to person, I assume, just everybody gets?
Yeah, we pass it along, I guess.
No, sharing is very good.
See
Sharing
Sky
is-
wagging her tail.
You know, while we're on the subject of this, I did clean it for the record, but Skeech, I wondered if you thought that it would be okay if I gave this to Anna, because it seems to give off whatever flavor you wish it to.
Oh.
That seems like something that would be of interest to you.
That sounds very thoughtful.
With Skeech's blessing, I'd like to give it to you.
Oh, how can I refuse? Thank you.
Well, thank
Mary, I don't know how to bless this. Could you help me?
I mean, prestidigitation is kind of a thing.
No, I washed it like with soap and water.
Do you have anything stronger than this wine we have here, by chance?
Well, I do keep a personal stash, but
Oh, it's been a day.
I think this is an appropriate time. And he goes back behind his wagon and he pulls out like a nice little ornate barrel, and he takes it out and he gives everybody a cup. To the heroes of Newtown.
To Gildan, for so graciously assisting us with our finds.
Our friend, yeah.
Okay.
Are there any other items that you're having Gildan take a look at?
3 rings that I found that I would also like you to check out.
They are just gold rings with one has a ruby, one has an emerald, and one has a blue sapphire.
Okay.
They are very fine craftsmanship and very nice rings, definitely worth money.
Beautiful. These are almost on par with some of the rings that I have. And he points to his.
Takes a drink, but not quite, right, Gildan?
Well, no, not quite, of course. Yeah. Just kind of. Anyway, anything else?
I'm going to reach behind me and just take out one of those daggers and flip it for you to look at.
Oh, yes. This is a very beautiful, fine weapon.
Gildan, at this point you do put something together after the khopesh and now the dagger. They appear to be made of that same metal that the bar that Anna first handed you.
This is very. May I see?
Of course,
that
yeah.
piece of.
I hand it back.
And I kind of show you. So do you see, and you as well? This is this appears to be made out of the same metal. Where did you say you found this again?
Underground.
Underground.
There was a mine that appeared to have been abandoned. Perhaps ancient enough elves
Well, yes, you're
or
so-
dwarves.
This does look like elven craftsmanship. Is there anything else about the dagger?
Nothing else about the daggers except for the fantastic craftsmanship on
Yes,
them.
this is obviously fine craftsmanship, very ancient.
Is there any engraving on it or writing of any kind?
Not that I can find.
Interesting.
Very fine weapon, though. Take good care of it.
Gildan, I know it might be a little bit silly as compared to some of the other items that we had found, but do you recognize this? Anything special about this? Kind of pulls out the little ink pot and quill. Minuscule to most, but I guess possibly quite important to someone who appreciates literature as I.
See, well, I believe this appears to be magical in nature.
As he begins fidgeting with it, you can see that the ink pot itself is empty, but every time the quill comes out, the quill has ink on it. And when you get done writing, you dip it back in. Again, it seems to be empty, and out it comes again with ink. It's unending ink.
There's a small tear. Across the corner of Amon's eye. Thank you, Gildan.
Are you an aspiring writer?
I believe in taking appropriate notes of everything that one comes across. I think it is helpful to keep records.
Of course. I keep a ledger of all of the items that I buy and sell, all of my dealings. Very practical. Very useful, yes.
Now, if some of these things you had mentioned that you were interested in possibly acquiring, some of them, or asking if at least we were interested in selling, would you be interested in at least appraising some of the items, not just identifying? I'm just curious who the right person is for some of these, if you were interested in some and not the others.
I might be able to do that, yes, of course. Will.
At this point, talk about the coins that you all had found.
No,
Yeah.
oh, the coins?
Or if we had found some coins, or there was like some goblets and like a sculpture or something that people would
The
snatch.
coins, I can take a look at the coins. So he just, kind of looks up at the, up in the moonlight, and these are very nice, elvish coins. And you found this in the same place. It's clearly this was an elvish mine of some sort. again, very ancient. But these are 1 gold pieces. These are not in circulation any longer. I could give you what they are worth, 1 gold a piece.
Determines on who has claimed them, whoever found them, really.
1 gold, I mean, first, it must be so old. Like, surely that must add to its value. And it's very pure, not like today's gold, which is mined. Yeah.
You got a coin collector here in this caravan?
I might know some people. It might be. I can make an arrangement. I can go. Might be able to, since these are probably collector's items. Perhaps 5 gold per coin. I can do. But this is a stretch. This is quite a stretch. Again, these are not in circulation anymore. Money does lose its value over time, and these are very, very old.
Inflation.
Exactly. And you know, with these being old, they're practically worthless at this point.
Oh, well, I mean, if you can't see
You
the
could
value in
roll an
them, we wouldn't
insight
want
on
to
that.
burden you with our friendship. So we could, I'm sure we could find another buyer, I'm sure.
Oh, it is up to you. It is up to you.
Oh, okay.
But
22.
You know for a fact that collector's items like this go for a very pricey set, especially things like the dragon glass and things along those lines that the goblets and such are made out of.
Gildan. I must say, I'm disappointed in you. I didn't take you for a swindler.
How?
And,
dare you say
and
that?
I say that as a compliment.
You hear this?
From one swindler
spits his wine out.
I say that as a compliment from one businessman to another.
And I thought you were a holy man.
Waddle Dunbar.
I am that too.
Waddle Dunbar is just dying over the thing. He looks over you at Gildan like, you got had.
I'm a man of many talents, as are you. Now, I have seen many collectors. I have helped some of them part ways with items such as these in the past. I think they're worth more than you're letting on.
Well, you do have a sharp eye. I have to give that to you. Well, again, considering that these are not in circulation, you have to find a collector that would want to buy these. Very difficult to find, especially now with everything that is happening.
Even with their magical value, because it's not just a coin, right?
Do not believe they are magical.
No, these are not magical.
are-
just the,
these are-
the
These
feather
are
tokens.
The feather tokens that
These were the
have
actual-
safe landing?
These are just the 12 gold
Yeah,
coins that we had
just
found.
Elvish gold coins.
Thank you, that makes sense.
Plus the goblets and things like that. So
Okay.
So, seeing as, again, it would be very difficult to find a buyer for these items.
Yes, well, a regular
I would-
person, I
Of
imagine.
course, if you're not up to the
well-
challenge, like, we would hate
no,
to
no.
put that on you, you know? Like,
You flatter me, madam.
another bottle over there, and he's sitting in the corner. He gets up and actually walks away from the campfire back to his caravan.
I will, or because you are my friends. I will give you an offer. I will say, for each gold coin, there's how many? 12?
The 12 gold coins, there are 3 goblets. Was it?
Do you want me to read?
Yeah.
I had that there were 20 coins,
20 coins?
4 goblets,
I only had 12.
in a sculpted figurine as well. Not to mention the 3 rings, if you want to include those in there.
Yeah.
I will do this. I will offer you 20 gold pieces for 1 coin. But again, you must remember, with that being said, the difficulty of me being able to find somebody to resell them to. And also remember, I must also make a profit. I am in business. You are very nice people, clearly very skilled in what you do, but so am I.
well, perhaps if you find this person, then we can establish, because as you said, I'm sure we'll have more in the future. So this could be the start of a very lucrative arrangement for
I agree.
all of us.
I agree.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, we could be wholesalers.
Uh-huh.
I
And
can certainly, I can certainly put you in touch with again, if I find anybody. But there is no guarantee. There is no guarantee. So it is up to you. It is up to you. Again, I must make a profit. I must do all the legwork here.
Of course.
So
of course, we
I must have
value
a
your
profit
skill
margin.
set. Yeah.
Well, that is very nice of you to say, but
So
come on.
So 20 gold for each coin?
Yes, for each. Correct.
Friends, I
Right
say
now,
we
out the door.
accept Mr. Gildan's convenience charge.
Oh, of course. Yes.
So 400, and then how much for the glass and the goblets?
Same for it. These are all, again, these are all collector's items. These are all worth pretty much the same. They have no monetary value.
I find that the glass adds a little to each drink you take.
Well, you are right. There is some style points. I'll add an additional 5 gold to the glass.
You're doing great, Ehko. I'm proud of you.
Yes, very well done. Yes, you are quite the negotiator. Very skillful. You must learn from His Holiness over there.
Something like that.
I'm just throwing up in my mouth a little over here. It's fine.
Rude. Well,
I
thanks.
have one last question for you. What do you make of this? And I dropped this like giant coin in front of you. It has, who is it on it again?
That is Illustria Thond-en'i'orn. That's the queen. It's that giant one with the rubies and stuff on it. That piece right there,
Soul Ender?
Thond-en'i'orn.
Oh, it sounds a lot like Soul Ender.
Well, it's Elvish. You gotta put
Move the accent over one letter.
Right. Yeah, there's a schwa.
But no, that you could, Gildan, go ahead and give me a deception on that.
Oh man, I need to
Somebody throw him
You
a
know,
die,
they're purple,
please. Yeah,
like
we didn't
you.
think that was going to happen.
Make it
And I
good.
got a purple trait for you.
What's your base?
Ooh, rolled a 17.
Looks
17?
like a 1 to me.
All right. With his bonus,
you got one eye
Gildan
closed.
keeps his composure, but for just a brief second, that one eyebrow rises up, and it looks like dollar signs got a Donald Duck in his eyes for a moment there. It looks important, Gildan.
Again, it is a collector's item, like all of the rest.
Please,
This
it's
is-
been a long night.
And this has to do with what?
We need our money.
I will offer. All right. Well, because
Let's see.
like I
Just
say,
to identify
let us
that
say-
one. I'm not sure
Go
where
beating
to
around the
let
bush
that
on
go.
I'm concerned that the ways of the world of men have corrupted you.
I need to get out of these walls.
well, is there anything magical about this coin?
Not at all, whatsoever.
This is-
The only
yes,
magic
this is-
that happens is the things you
It's
can buy with
quite
it.
shiny.
Okay.
All right. Well, just because of the extra flair, the gems and the size of the coin, I will give you another 10 gold. An extra 5 gold for the goblet,
I'll be taking that back, thanks.
please.
Thank you. I'll be saving that for
It
a
is
rainy day.
completely up to you. Yes, of course. Again, if you like, I can certainly try to find a buyer for that item if you're not
Sure,
happy.
you
But
can keep an ear out and let me know what you think.
of course, remember, I do have to charge a fee, a finder's fee.
Fair enough. We'll keep that one, but we'll go ahead and sell the rest to you. Are we in agreement there? All right.
He has his book out. Just to reconfirm, that was so 400 gold coins for the
Coins.
themselves. How much did you say for the goblets? You said
And
an
an additional 5 gold. Yes.
So 25
20,
each.
25.
25 each.
25.
100
For the
100
goblets.
For the goblets then.
Yeah.
Look at the statue.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, all right, the statue, well, it's about the same as the goblets, I would say, about the same size. Again, collector's item, very hard to find the buyer, so.
That's what, 500 gold total.
525 with the statue.
Alright.
Wow, wonderful. Well, this is certainly a change from last time that you were here. I am very happy that our business relationship is growing.
No one is as happy as we are.
Oh, wait, Your Eminence, may I please for a second? And he takes out, he goes back to his wagon and he takes out your bow tie. He's like, here, just a little icing on the cake, because I enjoy doing business with all of you so much. I feel that this would probably look a lot better on you. And he gives it to you. Here you go. I kept it very clean, and I also made some improvements on it for you. There you go. Wear it in peace.
I have to give you something.
No, please. Your company is enough. Is payment enough?
Well, that's...
And plus all the stuff that you just sold me, that was pretty good.
I have a hard time accepting charity.
Oh, this is not charity. This is consider it a favor from a friend, a business partner.
All right, that I will take. Now, thank you.
You are welcome. Well, friends, now that our
Reunited
business is
at last.
concluded, let us drink.
And as we're drinking, Ehko will lean over to you and go, I hate to keep harping on the sword that you have, but was there any engraving or anything on that one?
This is very similar to the sword that you have. It's very ancient.
Just belongs to someone else.
It belonged to somebody that I knew.
In the message, was it similar? Did it have a name?
It was a similar message as far as a name, but it is made from the same metal. Sort of cut from the same cloth, but in sword terms.
Of course.
How distracted is everyone with drinking right now?
Skeet is notably not drinking or
Reverend's pretty engrossed.
Yeah, there seems to be a whole lot of things to keep people occupied. What are you looking to do?
I want to pull the Reverend off to the side to have a conversation.
Oh.
This probably isn't the place for that because there are plenty of people around from the caravan. And again, this is underneath that sheltered tent, so you might want to look to have a more secluded location.
Oh, it would have been like out of the caravan area.
Oh, out into the rain?
Yeah.
Okay, well, that would definitely muffle a lot. So you all leave the caravan and standing out there in the field?
Before they go, my little friend, I noticed that you have had some trouble with your backpack there. May I?
I didn't bring the backpack.
Oh, I thought you had your backpack with you.
Oh, you would have had it with you because you guys came just from. Oh, or did you abandon it back
Yeah,
there?
I left it back there.
Oh my goodness! Wow, I missed that. My bad.
Yeah.
That is the immense sadness of that.
Never
So you're just clutching your junk and left the
Yeah,
backpack.
I've been walking like this the whole time.
He has been brought low. My goodness, I did not realize that we.
Through the rain.
Do you have
Shin-high mud, head-high grass.
Any bags? Yes, I have plenty of bags. Very, very colorful. I might have something to match your aesthetic. And he goes out to one of his his wagons and he just thing pops out and there's a bunch of different bags, different colors. Since we have done good business today and you seem to be at a loss, I would hate to see you not be able to carry your junk.
You see the ears go down again.
Do not be sad, my friend. Please, take your pick. There's like a nice, there's different colors, but there's like, greens and yellows.
Different
and
materials,
oranges.
different sizes.
Different designs, embroidered. Nothing like super expensive. But.
Do you have any like saddlebags?
Oh yes. He like moves a couple and reaches one from behind the other ones. It's like a kind of like a rugged leather one with some studs.
I'm gonna try to like tear it.
Seems to hold up.
Quite sturdy. It is also bite-proof, I believe. in case that is something that you were going to try, I can tell you right now. Please, it is yours.
And I will produce that single ingot that I have and hold it out.
Thank you. Although this has no monetary value, this is worth a lot more to me. This is sentimental value is always worth a lot more than gold. So thank you. And he puts it into his coat.
Thank you for this ball of aluminum foil.
Yes, it is. It's quite nice. Beautiful.
I will strap it to my chest.
All right, you now have a nice set of saddlebags strapped to your chest.
Just one.
Just a saddlebag?
Yeah, I'm gonna use it as a backpack.
Ah,
it's just
all right.
sturdy.
It is definitely very sturdy. And so, Damon, you pull the Reverend aside there as this is transpiring. Everybody's kind of still around the campfire there. Out in the rain. Doesn't appear to be anybody around you. It's hard to tell exactly the tall grass.
As we're walking, because I have my hand on his arm, and as we're walking away, it gets a tighter and tighter grasp on it until I turn him around and I say in like a seething whisper, "How dare you try to expose? Do not make a fool of yourself and get everybody else in trouble."
I wasn't making a fool of myself.
Don't let your anger control you. They will kill you by themselves, and you'll get everyone else killed.
I did, if you recall, try to disabuse you and the rest of them of traveling with me. Let's get that straight first. Y'all keep tagging along with me.
I'm not tagging along with you. It actually looks like the opposite, where you're coming with us.
Skeech, that bag looks marvelous on you.
Oh my goodness.
Thanks.
All right, if our agreement,
I will help you, as long as you don't do anything stupid.
I'll keep my emotions in check, but as our previous conversation probably guessed, Seb, that's the one I'm looking for. So when they said her name, I lost myself for a moment. It won't happen again. My resolve is strong. Not as much as yours, but I'll do what needs to be done.
You better not. And I'm just gonna step away.
I'm just gonna kind of sit in the rain for a while.
A few moments later, the rest of the party joins you out in the rain as you all proceed back to town, I'm assuming, at this point.
Remember, we are never far away.
Yeah, I did notice that.
And back in through the gates you all go, and into the town itself. Where do you proceed from that point? Back to the Red Valerian? Winding down for the evening?
We gotta take the dog path.
Yeah. I think we're like, we gotta take the secret dog path, but we're all, like,
for sure.
exhausted.
What are you doing at Skeech? Because it is raining.
The bag of you.
We double up, put him on the wolf.
Well, Skeech,
Throw the saddlebag over the wolf, climb in the saddlebag.
Skeech, I know that you resisted this before, but Gildan did give us this face cream of a magical variety.
Didn't he say not to get that wet?
Yes.
He did. He did.
That's okay, I forget stuff too.
Well,
Not often.
guess we're gonna have to do the old bag over the head trick.
Is that a trick?
I'm not at the top of my game right now, folks.
Looking around for who's getting the bag over the head.
You could always wrap him in a rug.
Too soon.
Reverend's looking really like he's not really fully attending to the conversation.
I will, Skeech, if you lay down laterally on top of Sky,
Not a ladder.
I will just lay my cloak over the both of you.
Perfect.
I mean, it'll just look like a wolf wearing a coat. You'll be comfortable.
We made that little outfit for her out of the rug.
Yeah, maybe you could hide under that.
Maybe like a cape.
Sure.
Perfect.
So I imagine his kind of head or his eyes or his ears are just barely popping out.
Before I climb on the wolf, I would like to go And to make sure that that's okay with Sky, I'm going to talk to her in Darkspeak.
I don't know if she speaks Darkspeak, but she might.
They understood Darkspeak.
That's true.
That's where that type of wolf
Sky's
See, I speak
tail,
wolf, so it's a little more.
Sky's tail wags back and forth, and
High society.
she gives you some nice, wet, lickery kisses on the face there, licking off your goblin tears.
grab some of the grass, get a bunch of dew, and
That'll
crawl
take care
on
of
her
it.
back so I'm just covered in hair.
Nothing more, normal than a wolf wearing a cloak. That's legit.
It's an S cape. It's a Skeech cape.
Super Sky.
And into the Red Valerian you go. Take it up to your room where you, because you already eaten for the evening. As you pass the desk, Delphine's waves to you. She's like, you guys return safely. I guess we'll see you in the morning. Anything you want brought up to your rooms?
Regular breakfast in the morning would be so kind. It's been a very long day. We'd like to get some rest.
Okay.
A
Very good.
bottle,
A bottle?
please.
What do you want in it?
Something strong.
Okay. And
Nobody has asked about us in the meantime, have they? Asking.
not that I've been told. No,
Okay.
sir.
Great.
By the way, Skeech, when you open up that saddlebag later, you'll find that on the inner fold, there's an embroidered S on the inside of the flap.
If I could read, that would be so nice.
Somebody stuck a bunch of extra thread on this.
Kids would be so
Up you all
proud
go.
if they knew how to read.
A little while later, there's a knock at the door. A bottle gets slid over. It's actually not a bottle. It's more of a ceramic jug.
It's a good jug with that
XXX. And that nice cork stopper on it. Open it up. You're like,
Warning,
"Phew."
the extra.
Smells like a high school party.
All right, if any of y'all need me for the rest of the evening, don't.
And the Reverend proceeds to drown his sorrows. And I take it a night's sleep you all take part in.
Before we go to sleep, I would just like to just double check our gold. Just make sure it's all there. And-
Who did he hand the gold to?
Yeah.
I think it was Vaughn was the one
Yeah,
who was having the main
I was
conversation with.
playing
Yeah.
bookkeeper, so I'll take it, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
I like that plan.
And then
Yeah.
go ahead and hand Vaughn all those. You can pass those out,
Nice,
except for
nice.
the
It's probably for the best.
Arcanist cookbook and the potions, I believe,
Gave that to
were
the
his.
Reverend.
Yeah, actually, I had all the potions and the little tokens.
Oh, amazing.
So we can hand those back, and we'll take care of that in a bit.
Yeah.
We've,
Outside of that, is there anything else you're doing this evening, folks?
I would like to approach Vaughn, actually.
is talking to Anna.
Yeah.
I don't really understand necessarily how much it was all worth, but I mean, we made up a decent chunk of what we spent for our original starting equipment, so I mean,
I
still
believe,
think
and we begin building the relationship, and that's the important thing.
value
People are like, yeah.
it's an investment.
Exactly,
Hey.
exactly.
Anna gets it.
Yeah.
Yes, sorry, put this away.
Oh, excuse me.
Vaughn, you said that you knew how to make some stuff.
No, more or less, my mentor, the individual that helped me, knew their way around an alchemy kit, so minor potions and various things of the like, I have some experience with.
I lost my satchel with the things. Can you help me?
I noticed that, Skeech. It looked like you left it back at the tavern.
I left the bag, but I used most of the things that I brought with me, and without the junk, I can't make any more.
Skeech, I don't have much training or expertise necessarily in the specific explosives, so the residue that you had. But I believe if we put our heads together, we could certainly come up with something that I think would serve to your ends. I'd gladly help you, Skeech. You're a friend.
Thanks. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to bother you.
No, Skeech, you're welcome here. I feel terrible about your junk. I really feel, I'm so sorry.
There'll be more.
Yes. There will be more junk.
It's the truth of life, if I've ever heard one.
There's always more
Acquire
junk.
it. If I find junk, it's going to you.
I'll make sure it's not, trash, but yeah.
Okay. I'll let you sort that.
Anything else everybody's doing before you go to bed?
I would like to hold the Keystone very tightly and pull like the covers over so no one can see I have it, and I am going to sleep with that thing in my arms, and I'm like concentrating. I'm like, send me a message, send me a message.
All right.
I'm going to just say some prayers to the one God, you know, like, thank the one God for our safety and our lives, and food in our bellies, and coin in our pockets, and, you know, just pray for a better day tomorrow.
All right.
To add one more, I feel like we'll also wait, give Will a moment, and then we'll all interject at the last moment. As it gets later into the evening, rather than kind of succumbing into weariness and getting tired, you would probably notice a little bit different of approach. Looks like Vaughn kind of sits down in one of the corners, not too far away, maybe from where your nest is, Skeech. And it looks like he's meditating. Essentially, he's trying to recall and focus on some of the training he had utilized to ward off some of the effects of the power he used earlier.
Very good. And you spend most of your evening meditating on that. Next morning comes, you guys can smell breakfast downstairs wafting up, nice, delicious. You already know how wonderful the breakfasts are down there. So I take it you all get ready to go, get Skeech all slathered up with his beautiful makeup.
Well, I'm going to give Skeech the cream. Hey, don't get it wet.
And Skeech looks like a child, to be perfectly honest with you, a human child.
I seem like a very ugly child.
I never said one way or the other about that. That's your own personal take on that, you know. I'm not here to judge. So downstairs you all go. As you all are passing the front desk, you can see Delphine is back there at the desk. And she says, oh, she's like, there is a gentleman that has our banquet room set aside for you. He would like to see you.
Did he happen to mention his name?
He's the purple guy, the dandy.
Oh, okay, all right.
Well. Are we ready? All got our story straight?
Yeah.
I believe it's most important for you to have our story straight.
Well, we found some special metal. Found out a lot of information detailing the fall of Granitegard. All the deep historical lore. Very important for future posterity. And that's about it. I found an old map of the city.
Which we'll gladly show.
You see Delphine at the desk just staring at the Reverend with these eyes that she's like,
Which is funny because I look like death warmed over.
his voice is melodious.
Yes.
All right.
She basically overheard that entire prep talk that you guys gave.
Shall we?
Don't forget the unicorn dust.
Oh yes, the unicorn dust. I'll keep that in reserve should I need to sweeten the pot.
Okay.
You all approach the banquet hall and open the doors, and before you is this spread on this table of all kinds of eats for breakfast. Enough chairs for each one of you to sit down, including Skeech. In the room is Versagallis, and he appears to be in a conversation with Katya, actually. She appears to be taking care of the room here, and she's kind of laughing and joking. She's like, you don't say. She's like, you have been to some amazing places. At that point, he turns around and he's like, oh, my friends, welcome. I have been itching to speak with you. And that is where we're going to end tonight's show. We do hope that you will join us for our next episode, and we look forward to seeing you. And I do believe that will be on the, this was the 7th of May, right? But we are taking Mother's Day off, which is the 14th, so we won't be here that particular week, but we'll have something in store for you at that point. But again, join us on the 7th and see what happens next. So thank you, and have yourselves a wonderful week.
Bye.
Bye.